Trans Consulting, transformative radical action necessary for change and evolution. Dreams to be a hub at the intersection of empowerment and artivism. Elle is an award-winning activist, community organizer, and resource navigator. She is a storyteller and a creative. She uses these gifts as an event host, entertainer, facilitator, and moderator, social media curator, and content creator. Elle has dedicated her life to building equity through visibility for QT PLC and continues to build towards lasting impact in the community. The Paris Tika Mahone Memorial Transition Fund exists to build a better future for the queer and trans people of color of Milwaukee, beginning with providing free facial laser hair removal treatments for Black trans women in collaboration with Sheba Sisters Helping Each Other Battle Adversity and Diverse and Resilient. We hope to offer financial assistance for all trans-affirming care, transition-related procedures, and one day, with your help, provide support for trans-affirming surgeries. The future of the fund will be a garden and art installation in the city of Milwaukee. This is a legacy piece for our community, dedicated to Paris Tika Mahone and Ronnie Grace. The fund hopes to be here to support future generations of queer and trans people of color. The fund stands to tell the stories of trans and LGBTQ hate crimes, anti-trans murder, HIV and AIDS awareness, infant mortality, gun violence, fentanyl-related deaths, suicide, youth suicide, sickle cell anemia, long-term COVID, rare lung disease, diabetes, and to honor our lost elders. You can support the Transition Fund by contacting Elle at ellehalo@gmail.com or by donating to Love on Black Women with the word trans or the trans flag emoji in the description. Hi, everybody. Let me just do a quick sound check. I'm sorry, honey. Hi, everybody. Okay. Hi, everybody. I have an event tonight, so I'm going to be moving through things quite expeditiously this evening, but I have a lot of great stuff. So let's push on through. Let us push on through. So this week is the Halo Show, episode 5, December Surprise. And at the end, you'll see why I called it December Surprise. If you know about the, I guess, October Surprise for the election cycles that they be talking about sometimes, that's what I kind of got the title from. But we definitely been having a lot of surprising things in like the news and media. So I definitely want to get into all of that and much more. So let's get right into it. I do not own the rights to any music or, any of the things. And I'm just here to, give my feedback and have a conversation with y'all. I would love to see y'all comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. So, in our For the Doll segment this week, we have the HIVtest.com campaign. If any of y'all saw that, I'm going to play a quick video by Todrick Hall called Flex. We're going to talk about Miss International Queen just a little bit and watch just a little bit from Miss International Queen pageant that some of my friends were in. And then I have a little clip by my good sis, Tatiana Braxton, as well. And so that'll be For the Dolls. And so let's get right into it. For the Dolls. This is For the Dolls. This is For the Dolls. So some of y'all maybe have seen the HIV test campaign, the amazing Temperance and Asia and Tabitha from Queen Sexy Cool, King Amaya Scott was in it as well. And so I'm gonna start with
that stuff, but there's quite a few clips from it. So if you haven't seen it, this is gonna be an amazing little treat. And so I'm gonna do that really quick, and then I'm gonna hit it. Yes. Where's the audio? And so this is as I said, so happy. I was so happy not to be in front of the camera as well. Growth time, directing, and the goddess. Divine Goddess Extravaganza. Rise beyond any doubts. Get tested today. Visit HIVtest.com now to access trusted resources on HIV testing, locations, prevention, and support options. Order an at-home HIV testing kit today. Discreet, free, fast, and delivered straight to you. Testing is fundamental. And also in it is Giselle, Lakeisha Harvey, Veronica Guzman, King Maya Scott, Vicky Dale, and Chanel Ross. And so, like I said, I have a bunch of little clips, but I'm gonna play a little bit more. But something very fundamental. I think that it's very important about trans people, people as a whole, and people as a whole, and we are mainstream also being seen as having that framework of being seen as desirable, that framework of being in ways we haven't been seen, the whole adult industry as well as everywhere else. Our needs are, of course, similar, but very interesting, very nuanced. A lot of unpacking for us, specifically as trans women, that we have to do not just accepting any of it, and I love that they all did it. They all amazing. And I'm really excited. The next day. And we do have to, like I said, learn to back ourselves and our bodies, particularly as that's why we really want to start a campaign and why we really want to call out the ladies and talk about it, just because of growing into our womanhood and become partners to your work, and to get that person you're able to know your work, that they're not just a sexual object. I think we are groomed and treated. I call it socio-coercive grooming, socio-coercive trafficking. There's a level of trafficking to how we are our womanhood as women to the inside of the community. You are still pushed and framed and only things into your worth and value and your worth is only as valuable and is just why it is actually easier for us to be so again, amazing. This is a scene that we're gonna watch. Stigma, so I'll do that for this one. Called Pop the Stigma, sorry. Here we go.
This is the Dolls edition. What's up, ladies? Hopefully, this bachelor says all the right things. Let's go ahead and meet our bachelor, Mr. Guilt himself. Okay, Mr. Gill, how are you today? Tell me a little bit about yourself. And also, have you ever betrayed a friend?
That's a tough question. Hi, Tempers. Hi. Pleasure to meet you. Let me say, about 3 years ago, my friend confided in me that he was HIV positive. And about 2 months later, we got into an argument about some money, and I put him on blast. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of expected. So you got a lot of pops. Let's go to you, Asia. You pop first. Why did you pop?
I'm so sorry, you're so fine, but you're misinformed. Today's information should never be used as tomorrow's ammunition, point blank, period. So it's a no for me.
Expected.
And you, Vakaya?
Weaponizing health is
so it's a no for me.
And if you can't confide in your friends, then who can you confide in?
Okay.
And Tabitha, you didn't pop. So why didn't you pop?
Well, I know we're all human and we can make mistakes in moments of passion. So I want to hear guilt out. Tell me, how did you make it up to them?
To be honest, after you say something, you can't really take it back. So I felt so guilty and ashamed since. I haven't seen them or spoken to them since.
You are wrong, because health reasons affect so many people. It furthers the stigma of HIV and forces people to live in fear and silence, when really we should be living loud, bold, and free. Let's rise above it and pop the stigma.
Absolutely. I agree. Help breathe late. But when you know better, you do better. So I don't want you to leave feeling guilty, Mr. Guilty. But there's no match today. Hopefully next time. And I hope you learned something today.
I did. Thank you for your time. Beautiful ladies.
And so that was super cute. In that clip, they were talking about HIV stigma and sexual stigma, which we talk about a lot, and they were talking about it in terms of shaming people for their status. And what is crazy about working in prevention and having those different conversations is that it isn't people who know their status who are, it is the misinformed and people who don't know their status who contribute the most to us just not having enough awareness around our sexual health and to new infections and new cases. And so, you know what I mean? People who know their status know how to, get treatment. And as far as people who are HIV positive specifically, or living with HIV, they have U equals U, which is undetectable equals untransmittable. And so, as long as people are adherent to their treatment regimen and are seeking treatment and engaged with treatment, people can live much healthier lives and can also have unprotected sex and have sex protected or unprotected with people and not spread HIV. And we also have PrEP now, which I'm a PrEP user. PrEP is a drug that prevents HIV. And so definitely check out PrEP. Y'all see those Misters commercials. I love those commercials and the ladies and all of that in those commercials. They were there at Biomedical when I went to Biomedical. But all of those tools are there. You can, here in Milwaukee, you can go to Planned Parenthood, to Diverse and Resilient, to Best D, to 16th Street. here to Vivint. And so make sure you check all of those out here in Milwaukee. And, check out HIVtestnow.com. And congratulations again to all of the ladies. And so here is the ladies speaking on testing themselves.
To a special edition of Femme Queen Crazy Sexy. And I am your host, Temperance Chastity Moore.
And I'm your host, Asia.
I'm your host, Tabitha.
What's up, ladies? Well, today we are sitting down with some of the who's who of ballroom and some of the top girls in the sex industry.
And we're having an intersexual conversation about sex and sexual health.
We're going to get down and dirty with it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start. Well, first, let me introduce who we have sitting on the panel today. We have the overall mother of the House of Tishy, Giselle. Tishy.
Tishy Dove.
We also have the overall mother of the House of Gorgeous Gucci, the icon Lola.
Hi.
We have a legendary Chanel Miyake Mugler, the mother of Atlanta. We have another gorgeous Gucci in the building, Rakaya. And we also have the legendary Veronica Miyake Mugler.
Oh, yeah, Mugler.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So question, I'll start with you, Giselle. After your first sexual encounter, how long after did you start getting testing, and what was your first testing experience like?
Okay, well, growing up in public schools, growing up in, I would say, like the hood or minority environments, HIV and AIDS was something that we were taught early on, so I always was informed about what it was because it impacted my zip code. I grew up in 32206 Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. And so HIV AIDS is something that impacted a lot of families. So at 16 years old, when I became sexually engaged, that was when I began to get tested. And so my first experience getting tested, it was traumatic for me because I went with a group of my friends that were all the same age, 16, 17 years old. And we were doing it just to honestly just do it, not really expecting anything out of it. But one of my friends came back reactive. And so it was just like a gut punch for us, and it was life-changing for us. And so that's when it became really real for me in that moment. So that was my experience.
Okay. And Veronica, what about you? Let's jump it over to you. That same question. How long after your first sexual encounter did you start getting tested, and what was your testing experience like?
First time that I got tested, I was 16, which was like 3 years after my first sexual encounter. The first time I did it was like 13, 14, very young. We weren't aware and we weren't taught about HIV or none of that, or condoms. Let's just say in my country, we didn't have condoms. And if they did, they were too expensive for the normal folks. I didn't get tested until I came to America. And the first time I did it, I went to the public high school, the gay high school, HMI. And it was kind of like a pretty easy experience, only because I was amongst peers my age, and the way they taught us and like prepared us in case anything came out bad. So we had counselors and everything. Asia knows because we grew up together. And they prepared us very well. And, the results were what I expected. So it was nothing. It was perfect for me.
And my next question goes to Rakaya and Chanel. When creating content, do you disclose test results?
Not all the time, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like certain instincts where it's like, most of the time I know who I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of times where I don't. So that's when I need to pull out everything in. But they got a couple of apps where you can share different test results, everything between each other. So therefore, you cannot disclose anything on OnlyFans unless you go through the proper everything you go through.
I would kind of piggyback off of that. If I'm working with an established content creator, then we go through the whole process of doing testing. But if it's like somebody I met at the club, it's never really a conversation. We just use condoms and just, go about our day. So that's a must. When I'm working with content creators, we have to get tested.
We just want to say that we don't want to promote stigma here. So we're not promoting one result. We're just saying that it's best that you know whatever, because we know that you equals you. And if you are undetectable, you cannot pass the virus. But I just do want to ask this question, speaking on that, Lola. When you first started taking prevention medication, did you ever have any concerns that it would affect your hormones?
To be honest with you, I never even thought that it would affect my hormones because it wasn't told by the doctor that it would. Because usually when I go to get tested, it goes in with the labs of your hormones. So they never actually said, oh, this could affect like your body or anything like that. But now thinking about it, it is a medication that you have to take to prevent anything happening or any diseases or anything preventative for your body. And it clashes also with
About
the
that
hormones because it's
PrEP and
everything is going in
doxycycline.
your liver and your body. So it's a
PrEP and
decision that you have to make for yourself. You always have to stay safe and protected. So if you know that you're going to go out and slip up, then strap up, either get preventative care or use condoms. I always go by the theory of this because everyone is not negative, but we all still engage with each other. My motto is this: even though yes, we are legally supposed to disclose our status to people, that's what the law says. But in reality, I tell people, everyone is responsible for their own sexual health. So if you do what you're supposed to do for you, then you don't necessarily have to worry about the next person. The main thing that I'm more concerned about is a person if they have warts or sores, things like that. But HIV doesn't have a face. Disease does not have a face. You're correct. But what I'm saying, you really have to be careful. Yes, and to my point that I'm making is, if everyone takes care of their sexual health, that means if I'm on a preventative, if I'm on PrEP, or if I'm on antiretroviral medication, if I'm negative or positive, if I'm undetectable, that means I'm of no harm to anyone. I can have unprotected sex with someone without passing the virus. That means if I'm on PrEP and I have sex with someone that is full blown, I'm still protected by that PrEP. So everyone is responsible for their own sexual health. So once again, if you do what you need to do for yourself, then we'll all be safer. And that's just a theory that I go by because that's the real world. That's the real world that we live in. Everyone is not going to disclose their status with you. So if you do what you need to do for you, then you'll always be protected to a certain amount,
And in all reality, anyone can get HIV, regardless of your sexual orientation, gender identity, or sex assigned at birth. Get tested. Know your status. So therefore, you can make an informed decision about prevention or treatment options. For more information or where you can go get free testing, visit HIVtestnow.com.
Testing is fundamental. And this has been a special edition of Femme Queen Crazy
Sexy.
Ooh.
And so again, that was amazing. Shout outs to Janelle, to Lola, to Temperance, to Tabitha, to Asia. Yes, all of the ladies look amazing and beautiful. And as you can see, they had advocates and activists as well as models and performers and adult performers, entertainers. And so shout outs to all of the ladies, and the diversity amongst the ladies is something that is beautiful, and them platforming and giving opportunities back to the community on the Femme Queen Sexy Cool podcast is something that I really love. And I just wanted to shout them out. It was World AIDS Day on the 1st of this month, which, just like Thanksgiving and the election and so many different things, like, has been kind of in this time warp bubble that we've all kind of been under with the media and stuff. And so shout out to our observance of World AIDS Day as well. And so, again, this has been an amazing, beautiful campaign. Again, they talked about PrEP and PEP and DoxyPEP. They talked about antiretroviral medication, which is a regimen of medication that someone who is living with HIV can take, and then they can become, after being on it for the a lot of the amount of time, they can become undetectable, which means that you have a low enough viral count that you cannot transmit HIV any longer. And so, again, when they're talking about it in the context of performing, but we know very well that there is a big, huge hookup culture that we all get sucked into with the apps, with the social media, with the dating, with the lack of a real dating scene of people really wanting to have relationships and date. And you're kind of like, kind of ushered into it that way. Again, for us specifically, talking from the perspective of Black trans women, we are specifically groomed, I believe, and ushered into that lifestyle, into accepting that having to accept that people only see us for our bodies. Like, even having a partner or being in a relationship, like, there's still a place and a point where it's very much like someone could be in love with you but still only see you as that, and through that lens that doesn't honor the fullness of your humanity. Hey, Charming. Okay. And so I just wanted to show all of that and just talk about that briefly. And so let's keep going with the campaign. And so this is Suprise. I would have honestly, like, they do have Chancellor in a lot. Torres is in it. Well, is in it. Out and stuff. Beautiful and amazing. But I think on the guy's side, it's very hypersexualized. When they did this season, we've been talking about it. And Manchion a couple years ago. Oh, the Horror Story New York, like the overlord of say that I do commend them. It's is very much needed. But again, in the male culture, it is hyper masculinity. We had a conversation about fitness and like things like that, and youth, you know what I mean, are all a part of that conversation. Ladies stuff. I have a couple more guys, but I do, you to pull a signature trade or whatever the case may be. But I just want to color, means like your custody, those things right straight. And had a great time, and again, with your health, visit HIV Test Now. HIV testing kits today, discreet, free. And so that was the first one with the guys. From Love and Hip Hop. So, okay. And this is Sincere DeAndre. And some of their clips and photos. And again, everyone looks amazing. Like, there's no denying that. Like, they look amazing. It looks like they had a lot of fun. And so, let me get into this next one here. Ooh. Hooray.
Great. Okay, so if we're ready to go, guys.
Let's go. Okay. And I'm Robert. This is HBTestNow.com to access trust. Order at home. Free fast and people do look amazing. And one more time with the ladies.
Great. Okay, so if we're ready to go, guys. Let's go.
No, y'all know I had to. Y'all know I had to let the people, you know, they need to be. You know, I really am just really super proud of them. I really am just super proud of them. Okay, so now we are going to talk about Miss International Queen. And so, give me a second. And get rid of these. Okay. Oh, wait. No, not yet for Miss International Queen. We are going to go to this here.
Flex, sex, flex, hot body sex, flex, hot chest body sex, yes, flex, hot chest body sex, yes. This one's for the girls and the daddies with the big bags, big pecs, and they bouncing like hot jacks. Face PG, body on triple X. You sexy boy, let me see you flex. Based on 10, body on 12, waist on 10, booty on 12. Sent from heaven, but I'm hot as hell. These boys can't keep their hands to themselves. Titties, supple, booty, a bubble. I got that beats and it ain't no puzzle. Show me that stuff, show me that stuff. If you like it tough, like it rough, big, you in trouble. Ooh, just got it, daddy flex for me. Ooh, body, bounce, daddy just for me. You walk like dark, like sex to me. Daddy flex for me, flex for me. Oh, flex.
I thought I was going to bring the music videos back.
I like it when they pegs got a piercing in the nip. I like it when that sweat dripping down they six pack. That booty.
I thought I was going to bring the music videos back.
Yes, body sex. Yes, flex. Yes, body sex. Yes. Let's go. Big boy, that body banging. You ain't bang, but damn, you veiny. Oh boy, that thing is banging. Them gray sweatpants is swinging. The body right, physique phenomenal. The body type of leaves abdominals. Pose and I post these goodies on X like a bitch of Rolex. Bitch, watch me flex. Face don't work. Body on Hercules. Out of this earth. Booty big like Mercury. S to the L to the E to the X. My ex still wish you can watch me flex. Ooh, yo, daddy flex for me. Ooh, body bounce back just for me. You walk like talk like sex to me. Daddy flex for me, flex for me. Oh, flex. I like it when they strip. I like it when they pegs got a piercing in the nip. I like it when that sweat dripping down they six pack. That booty is my drug. I'm addicted to that crack. You flexing motherfucker. Flex, hot chest, body sex. 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 F-L-E-X, big pecs, big necks, black, white, Latin, X, fellas, let me see you flex. Thanks for watching.
I just thought that would be funny to play with the test and stuff. So get tested. It's HIV World HIV Day on the 1st, and so that's the first every year, not just this year, not just because it's a campaign. or some videos. And so I just wanted to show y'all that and shout out Flex and Todrick Hall. I love Todrick Hall. Sometimes he can be controversial, I guess, but I love him. I like his music and listen to his music, as well as, like I said, I want to start bringing y'all back the music videos and showing y'all different content by LGBT creators. And so I actually have this. I got this at Diverse Resilient. He is on the cover of Plus. This was what issue? This is for June 2024. And so in the inside, it's a little crinkled up, but it's super cute. This is so cute. Let me this is so cute. That is so nice. Oh my god. And so Hall of Fame, Todrick Hall has been dazzling the world with his amazing armory of talents. He's a choreographer, a singer, a dancer, all that. And has never forgotten where he came from. And so this was in Plus magazine. This is him with New York Tiffany Pollard inside. They were feeling their country oath in the video for YAS. Yes. His video for Yes. And so again, amazing all-star choreographer. He's a choreographer on RuPaul's Drag Race and many other people in production. So definitely check out Todrick Hall. We love Todrick Hall. Todrick with Taylor Swift and stuff in the inside. This is Todrick getting up in. Okay. It's important to draw attention to the issue, as it is still very much an issue in the LGBTQ community and beyond. I think it's one more page. Nope, that's it. But I love Todrick. And so I just wanted to show y'all that and shout out Todrick and, round out us having the fun little videos for today. And so I hope y'all enjoyed that. And so give me 2 seconds. I think and so I did want to shout out the ladies for Miss International Queen. And so I'll do this one first. This is the winner, Midori Monet, or Tiana Monet, is our new Miss International Queen. The girls were in the pageant. And so shout out to my girls, Kamaya L'Oreal Times, Mallory Jenna Robinson, and Princess Janelza. I love you girls. Princess Janelza is from here in Wisconsin and in Milwaukee. Is a lovely performer. I got to see her at our T-Door show at Tits. And so shout out to Princess Janelle, so you can catch her at Tits if you live in Milwaukee. And so she was in the pageant, and Mallory, and I see my friend Malika in the picture here, and Kamaya was in the pageant as well. And so I just wanted to shout them out and go over some stuff from the pageant, just a little bit with the ESSEC winner, Midori. She is beautiful. She really is like really, really stunningly beautiful. Like, oh my God, like she's amazing. Her dress looks amazing. She looks amazing. Congratulations to Midori Monet. And so I just wanted to share some of this. This is an article that Mallory was in for the pageant. And here is Mallory Jenna Robinson competes for Miss International Queen. When Mallory Jenna Robinson steps onto the stages at the Miss International Queen USA pageant this week. She will be proudly representing the city of Los Angeles. The 3-day extravaganza taking place in Las Vegas tomorrow through Thursday is a celebration of beauty, talent, and resilience within the transgender community. For Robinson, who was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama, but now calls Los Angeles home. I reside in Los Angeles, and as they say, home is where the heart is. Robinson reflects, my heart is definitely in LA. Her introduction to the world of pageantry began last December when she participated in an event promoting PrEP awareness to prevent HIV infection. Encouraged by the overwhelmingly positive response, she soon found herself drawn further into modeling and advocacy with appearances at the Trans Latina Coalition's Garas Fashion Show and Equality Fashion Week. In pageantry, she knows felt like a natural extension of her talents. And so I love Mallory. Shout out to Mallory. She was in the pageant. Let me see what else oops. Ooh, this one was on something. Okay, no. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead. This is Kamaya's walk.
Yeah.
I love it. Congratulations on being beautiful and getting out there and doing your thing. Always so beautiful.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, I just want to shout out the girl.
Come on now. That look good.
I just want to shout out the
Shout
girl.
out to her.
And do.
Okay, you said, where's the name? Open the doors.
Come on, girl.
Come
Come on, Kamaya. Yes.
In swimsuit competition.
That look good. Oh, shout out to her. Okay, you said, where's the name? Open the doors.
Yes, and you gotta love it. And they look amazing. Congratulations. Just on getting out there and doing y'all thing. This is Princess Nelza. Looking amazing. Ooh. One second. Shout out to Princess Nelza. Beautiful.
Ladies, cameras on now. Ladies, you are next.
Beautiful. I just wanted to shout out all the ladies for putting their best foot forward. But again, congratulations to the winner, Midori Monet, who is beautiful, chocolate, stunning, gorgeous, amazing. I'm going to always, like Laverne Cox said on episode 2, I'm always going to shout out Black excellence and be here for that and show that and showcase that and have our conversations for us and for trans women. And so I'm always looking for content that can really speak to us as trans women to open up to each show. So any things that y'all want to see me talk about or anything, and please leave y'all comments and let me know y'all thoughts. And I would love to hear y'all feedback and stuff from my first couple shows and from this show. So just let me know. But okay, moving right along. I have this little clip of Tatiana Braxton at the ACLU Lambda League.
They deserve. Why? Because our ancestors put us in place to make sure that shit happened. Thank you.
Okay,
you all will not stop the transition of our people. I don't care. I don't care how much you talk. I don't care how much you have conversations, but I want you to understand we exist. We're not going nowhere, and you all are not going to stop shit. We're going to make sure that our youth, that our siblings get everything that they deserve. Why? Because our ancestors put us in place to make sure that shit happened. Thank you.
Okay.
You all will not stop the transition of our people. I don't care. I I don't care how much you talk. I don't care how much you have conversations, but I want you to understand we exist. We're not going nowhere, and you all are not going to stop shit. We're going to make sure that our youth, that our siblings get everything that they deserve. Why? Because our ancestors put us in place to make sure that shit happened. Thank you.
Okay, that is what our ancestors put us here for. I mean, all of it. I show up for my people, ACLU, Lambda Legal. All of our work is valuable. It looks different. That's all. And that is exactly right. And something I want to emphasize too, all of our work looks different and we all are valuable and amazing and beautiful and a part of this family and this culture and this movement. And congratulations to Tatiana. This was a great speech. And so I just wanted to shout her out as well. And so that was our last clip for the dolls. I do have one little video that I don't know, but I asked. But okay. Let me come here. And so now we're going into the breakdown. First up on the breakdown, I have the passing of Nikki Giovanni, but I'm going to give space in between that for just these images and for these slides I made. So, you know, we lost a great one. And so just to ground us before we talk about Nikki Giovanni, I just wanted to, you know, put in these quotes and stuff. Great things never came out of comfort zones. And that is a little quote that I made and with the ladies from Pose, and I love them. And people really responded to that post. I appreciate people really responding to it. And then on the right, I have this amazing little quote thing for this week that I created, showing the Pauli Murray Center for Historical Justice and the Pauli Murray College at Yale. Pauli Murray is someone who Diamond talked to me about, who I'm gonna show in a second, giving some spoken word in honor of Nikki Giovanni, but I'm going to talk about Pauli Murray. And so Pauli Murray was an amazing lawyer and was a trans masculine person, and was an inspiration to people like Thurgood Marshall, and legal theory. There was also a reverend, and their legal theory. And there is a college named after them at Yale, and there is after a black trans person, after a black trans masculine person. And so I wanted y'all to know about Pauli Murray. And so this is one of the murals on their website and from Pauli Murray. And so it says, true community is based upon equality, mutuality, and reciprocity. It affirms the richness of individual diversity as well as the common humanities that bind us together. And this is, this is Pauli Murray's childhood home. And again, this is the Pauli Murray School of Law at Yale University. And Pauli Murray was also a reverend, like I said. I remember reading Pauli Murray was homeless as a teenager. I think they was orphaned, or just on their own. One of their parents died in incarceration. And so Pauli Murray as a teen toured across the country as a on the trains, like hopping illegally off the trains and train hopping and I just thought that's so amazing, and to reach from that that economic status and that standpoint, like to so high as to have a college named after you, a Black trans person. And so never deny us, just like Tatiana said, we're not going nowhere. This is what the ancestors fought their fights for, is to put us in place for right now, for us to be active, for us to use our voices, for us to get out here, for us to organize, for us to ensure pathways for our people that the rest of the community and the government is not going to ensure for us. And so I just wanted to shout out Polly Murray. Give me 2 seconds really quick because I just need to check what's coming. Okay, cool. And so, oh, I never found that one. But anyway, I'll find it in a second. But okay, so we have now Nikki Giovanni. Okay. And it's so crazy because I did watch this interview with her. But we have Nikki Giovanni, and Nikki Giovanni is an amazing writer and also another poet, a poetess, and an authoress, and just an icon, and another writer that I actually have my own personal connection to as a writer and as a young poet as well. And I've had a Nikki Giovanni book before as well. And she's just an icon, and so she lived to be 81, I think, and she's just an icon. So rest in peace to Nikki Giovanni, and I am going to play this little quick video of my mother Diamond talking about Nikki Giovanni, reading some Nikki Giovanni poetry, but we're going to get into this interview with her, talking about January 6th and white supremacy and all of that, because, in our breakdown segment, I'm always going to talk politics with y'all, like I've promised. And so that's where we are today. And so I just want to give space for that and for Nikki Giovanni. And so this is Diamond giving you Make Me Rain. Oops. Wait, one quick second. 1 second. Here we go. Okay.
Turn me into a snowflake that rests on your tongue. Make me a piece of ice that keeps you cool. Let me be the cloud that embraces you, or the quilt that gets you dry. Snuggle close. Listen to me sing on the windowsill. Make me rain on you. Make me rain. Turn me into a snowflake that rests on your tongue. Make me a piece of ice that keeps you cool. Let me be the cloud that embraces you, or the quilt that gets you dry. Snuggle close. Listen to me sing on the windowsill. Make me rain on you.
Okay, and so that was Diamond Make Me Rain, and it was fucking amazing. So I'm sorry, I had to play it. I love you, Diamond. Okay. And so now we're going to play Nikki Giovanni in her own words, and we're going to talk about it. How do I get it to go back? To having me small and having this one bigger. Any hoot. Okay. Let's play it.
White people, and I'm not picking on white, all of them, but quite a few of them think they have a right to have more than everybody. And I think we have to teach them, and I don't know that we can. It's not my responsibility at this point.
I watched this.
But there is something called
when it
enough.
came out. This is 8 months old.
And I think white Americans have not learned what it means to have.
I watched it when it came out.
So that they're never satisfied. They're always wanting more. And you cannot always have more because that means someone else has less.
Hello and welcome to Ways to Change the World. I'm Krishnan Guru Murthy, and this is the podcast in which we talk to extraordinary people about the big ideas in their lives and the events that have helped shape them. My guest this week is a poet, an activist. She was a leading light in the Black arts movement, the civil rights movement of the 1960s and 70s in America. She became famous again as a long-standing professor at Virginia Tech, because when that school in America was struck by a mass shooting carried out by a former student there, she had been one of the teachers of that former student and had identified him, in her words, as evil. She wrote a poem about him which touched many people across the world, including the Queen of England. Nikki Giovanni, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm delighted to be here.
You've been angry at different points in your life, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I never used to think that I was angry the older I got, but I think there's still probably a smidgen of anger left.
Well, I mean, I want us to talk about right now. What makes you angry right now?
I really dislike Donald Trump. I don't like Nazis. I never did. And I dislike the way that people are trying to teach hate, because hate has to be taught. And people forget that you don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to hate. Someone teaches you to hate.
I mean, as somebody who deals in the power of words, you used one of the most powerful words right then, right next to Donald Trump, Nazi. Just explain to me why you used that word.
I don't know what other word we could use. The United States in which I was born, and
denied it ever happened.
For whatever countries mean, and it means less and less to me. But I'm an American.
You can't call out fascism.
The capital of the United States hasn't been attacked since 1820, which was attacked actually by you people, by the British.
Or say racism, or say
and you lost because we became an independent nation. But we hadn't been attacked since 1820 until January the 6th. If that's not a Nazi, we can discuss, then what is.
I mean, let me go with your description for the sake of argument. I mean, obviously, Donald Trump's defenders will say that's a terrible thing to say, and he's unpatriotic and all the rest of it. We don't want to argue about that.
No, we don't.
Let us say that he's, for the sake of argument, a bad person. Why is he back in play when America, last time around, decided to kick him out?
We decided to elect Joe Biden. I think that was a good thing.
Do you think there is a racist backlash right now that is linked? Is it the same struggle, the one that you were fighting?
I don't think it's the same struggle. I think it's just another step in that struggle. That racism is a bad idea. And a lot of people are, well, one, we've sent a lot of our young men and women off to war to do horrible things. The United States has been at war since World War II. We had the Korean War, we had Vietnam, we had Afghanistan. We just got out of Afghanistan. And I think it's time that the United States realize that war is probably not one of the better ideas that we have. And then we bring these people home. We've made them shoot people, and then we bring them back. And the next thing you hear is that, well, he had health issues. Well, if you send him off and teach him to murder, what kind of issue do you think? Of course, he's screaming in the middle of the night. He knows what he's done. And we need to quit that.
So do you think America's lost its sense of right and wrong?
I'm not wholly sure that it ever had a sense of right, but it certainly has embraced a sense of wrong. Yes.
I mean, all nations, all cultures have a sense of morality. I mean, what you seem to be saying is, at least in the 1960s, you were able to articulate what was right and wrong. Was it obvious to you then that while you could end segregation, you couldn't end racism?
It was obvious because segregation is no colored allowed, whites only. And racism it's an ingrained situation that we've taught these youngsters to respond to, that white people, and I'm not picking on all of them, but quite a few of them think they have a right to have more than everybody. And I think we have to teach them, and I don't know that we can, it's not my responsibility at this point, that there is something called enough. And I think white Americans have not learned what it means to have enough, so that they're never satisfied. They're always wanting more. And you cannot always have more, because that means someone else has less.
I mean, is it about wanting more, or is it about people who feel they don't have enough? You know, that because a lot of that sort of drive in the 2016 election was about poor white America feeling the country, the system had failed it.
No, I think it was about them not reading enough books. I think we need a few more libraries. And I think we need to realize that this nation belongs to an earth. It belongs to a planet. And on this planet are living things, are life forms. And we have to have some respect for all of the life forms.
If there are other people who share your anger at contemporary politics, how does poetry help?
Poetry helps because poetry has invented, and we've birthed, I guess is a better word, we have birthed the science that has led to the dreams that has created some of the solutions. Not all of them, but some of them. Poetry is the one that says, okay, why can't I go into I want to go into outer space. Science didn't invent the poems to make it possible. Poetry invented the idea that made the science possible. Or science says, why does Franklin Roosevelt, who was not a bad guy, and he had the sense to marry Eleanor, who was a great woman, why does he have polio? Why is he spending his life in a wheelchair? Poetry says we can find some way of controlling that. And then the scientists say, and they're going to be doctor scientists in this way, well, let's find out what's causing this. Poetry has given birth to the best dreams of mankind. It's poetry that says all people were created equal. It wasn't science, it was poetry. So if we could get everybody reading, probably not me because I was a little angry at that point, but some of the nicer poems, then maybe we'll have better people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've been fascinated in recent years with the Earth, of the science of the Earth and the planets. What has sparked that? I mean, you've been up as well.
Yes.
To see the curvature of the Earth.
Yes. I think, I would like for everybody to be able to do that, because it would probably give people a little more respect for the planet upon which we live. But I think, again, we need to start with preschool, pre-kindergarten.
I want to come back to sort of the current day, sadly, and the things that people might want to write about now. I mean, we talked about Trump at the beginning, but I mean, in 2020, you did a poem for the Biden campaign about voting.
I just did it for voting. I didn't do it for Biden.
It was just for voting.
Well, we have local elections. We have the mayor. People forget the little things matter too. I'm glad that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won. But I wrote vote. because you are a citizen, and because there's a great woman who will break my heart. I'll sit here and cry on your podcast, named Fannie Lou Hamer, who created the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Mississippi, they must have had, 2 cents, but
I love that she just said, when she was just saying dreamers in poetry, and that poetry has birthed some of the best ideas and some of the best things. I think if you just don't think just rigidly about poetry, think about the arts as a whole. And when we have our organizing conversations and have conversations like about dreaming and dreaming together, let's dream together, let's organize, let's imagine, envision. And those exercises, like she said, has led to some real solutions. And so I think, I think this goes with some of the things I touched on last week's show with MJ Rodriguez, like keeping the arts alive, and with Langston Hughes, like keeping the arts alive. Like this is what we are here for. Like Tatiana just said, this is what the ancestors put us here to do and put us here for. And by doing that, we bring those things to life and we birth them and we give room and space and hold space for them, and those things can become solutions and can become a future one day. Okay, so let me come back to
found a way to bring these people to God. Found a way. She was a great organizer, and she got enough money together from her group to rent a bus to go to the Atlantic City convention of the Democrats. And Lyndon Johnson was president because Jack Kennedy had been assassinated. And she said to the Credentials Committee that they should be seated, not the traditional Mississippi Party, that they represented Mississippi. And of course, that's going to be, the Democrats need the Black vote. There's no question about that. And so Lyndon Johnson was trying to find a way to make it all right, because Joe Lyndon did things like that. And so he ultimately offered Mrs. Hamer 2 votes, 2 seats. And I will quote Ms. Hamer on that. She said, "We did not come here for no 2 seats." And she got back on her bus, she and her people got back on the bus and went back to Mississippi. Well, when the bus crossed the Mississippi line, the sheriff stopped the bus and they pulled her off. And it was one of the most horrible beatings ever. I mean, they beat that woman. And I've always said, no matter what, if any part of me is alive, I'm going to vote. If my fingernails are growing, take a fingernail and say, this is Nikki, she's going to vote. Because people have paid such a high price for Black Americans to vote. And that's what that poem says. We are citizens. It's not a hug. It's not a kiss. It's not chocolate or vanilla. It's a vote. And you must vote. And that's what I wanted to say there.
And it's the same argument this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
For everybody.
For everybody. It really is.
Do you think it is a good thing for Black people when you end up with a Black president or a Black vice president or a
this
Asian
part
minister?
is touching
Do you think
on why
the racist
Latinos and people who
unleashing that
are speaking
happens
out
when
against
those
standing
people
up
from
for
minorities get to
people who
power?
are standing up
Well,
for
one, we're not minorities. Let's start with the basic. We're not minorities. And 2,
detracted from
I
voting
think
for
that
Kamala
we
is,
are all earthlings. We're not minorities. Where I come from, Black people are the majority, and that's one of the problems. There are some white people who say,
why they went
I don't want
conservative this
Black
time.
people to have anything. I don't want them to be citizens, but we are. We in America, no matter what this small group that we keep talking about, and that talk about the minority is Donald Trump and his group. We are the majority. 75% of Americans don't agree with that. And so I really get upset with you journalists, or with the journalists, I would say you journalists, always talking about that the covers of magazines, or what did he say today? And people say, well, Donald Trump sells newspapers or magazines or whatever. I don't know what he sells, but I know that they overplay what he does. And I think that it's time that we quit having to listen to that.
She's talking about the way that Donald Trump is covered and why he dominates every news cycle ever since he came down the elevator, the Trump Tower elevator. And it's still crazy. You still, again, I said this the last couple of weeks, you're still not hearing about Gaza or Ukraine. You're still not hearing about nuclear armament in Iran, in Syria, Assad stepping down in Syria. That has just happened, which has been a long-standing humanitarian crisis, just like Gaza and Ukraine. And Iran and Saudi Arabia sponsor state terrorism. And so, anyhow, she's talking about all of those things. Again, this was 8 months ago. So this year, and she ended up passing away. And so I just wanted to make some space to shout out Nikki Giovanni. Let me come back over here. And to not give up, she's just like literally amazing and beautiful and just, just was such a powerhouse. Like I said, I learned about her as a young person and as a writer and a reader. Check out more of her work. And, she's definitely somebody I would love to see like a biopic about, or, see some great documentary pieces about. Just get more into her work, and rest in peace, Nikki Giovanni. So now this is I'm gonna maybe even save them for next time, but give me one quick sec. I am going to go to Cori Bush's farewell address. I have some more things to get into, and so let's get into it.
St. Louis and I rise, just as we have risen so many times before over these last 4 historic years. Together, we came into this work with a simple mission: to transform Missouri's 1st District by taking care of the people. On day 1, we vowed to do the most for St. Louis, starting with those who have the greatest need. We were clear-eyed of what was in front of us, ahead of us, and behind us. We stayed focused, we stayed committed. St. Louis, we came to Congress after unseating a 52-year political family dynasty. I ran for this seat twice to win it. And today, I stand before you as the first Black woman and first nurse to represent Missouri in Congress, the first woman to represent Missouri's 1st congressional district, and the first activist from the movement to save Black lives to serve in Congress. From the day that I was sworn in, I have brought you, my community, and my own lived experiences with me into every vote, every committee hearing, and every floor speech. St. Louis and I am proud to be the people I represent. I am the young girl who grew up in a working class household where my father was a union meat cutter and my mother was a computer analyst. Myers, Anthony Lamar Smith, and so many others, so ever Congressional Caucus on the Equal Rights Amendment. Black women have always been integral to the fight for equal rights, and so often relegated to its footnotes. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and I have forever changed that. Ever Congressional Caucus on the Equal, one of 2 Black women to ever sponsor legislation to ratify the ERA in its 101 years long history, to have co-founded and co-chaired the first ever Congressional Caucus on the Equal Rights Amendment. Black women have always been integral to the fight for equal rights. Into purpose. I've testified before the House Oversight during their lifetime. And in Missouri, our state has the third highest rate of domestic violence in the U.S.
I'm sorry, I
It's an
jumped around,
uprising
y'all.
movement who in 2014 was out on the streets for over 400 days protesting police violence after the killing of Michael Brown. My life experiences are different
She
from
shared some
many of
things
my
about her
colleagues here
personal
on
journey
Capitol
and her
Hill,
speaking
but
up, particularly around
outside these
reproductive
walls,
justice and
my
abortion rights
experiences are
and her
all
journey
too
as a young
familiar.
lady. And so I
In
kind of want
Missouri and
to
across the
her
country, people are
speaking
living
from personal,
multifaceted lives, and they
but I
endure the
actually listened to her
decisions
book
we do
on
and don't make in this
Audible,
chamber
and she
each and
shared
every
about
day.
all of that. And so
Like me,
her book on
1 in
Audible
4
as
people of
well.
reproductive age have had an abortion before the age
But
of
I love Cori
45 in the
Bush,
United
and she had to
States.
step down
Like I
because
was,
a
over
super PAC put
580,000 people in the
money
U.S.
into
experience homelessness on
defeating
any
her.
given night. And in Missouri, nearly 6,000 people are living
And so
without
again, I
stable
listened to her
homes,
book on Audible
almost a quarter of
and
them unsheltered.
followed her.
Like
She's a
I've
Black Lives
been,
Matter activist.
nearly 1 in 5 women and
Follow
1 in
her
71 men in the
here
U.S.
in
have been
Missouri.
raped
Like
at
you
some
said, she
point
came
in their
out
lives.
against
And in
them
Missouri, 1 in 3
killing
women
Mike
and 1 in
Brown.
7 men have experienced sexual violence. And just like I have endured, approximately 41% of women and 26% of men across
Amazing.
our country have reported that they have
She vows to
experienced
take
a form
this
of domestic
down,
violence by an
allegedly.
intimate partner
So
during their lifetime.
we'll see how
And in
that plays
Missouri,
out for
our
her. But
state
they
has
put
the third highest rate
hundreds
of domestic violence
of
in the U.S.
dollars into
St. Louis,
beating her.
you sent me to Congress because I reflect the struggles so many people in our community endure. And throughout my tenure in the People's House, I've turned my pain into purpose. I've testified before the House Oversight Committee, sharing my abortion story for the first time. I knew that there are others out there like me who never shared or may never share their truth with their family members or their friends, but are living through this reality, horrified. It's led me to fight and put my body on the line to protect medication abortion, to protect sexual and reproductive health, to stop the Comstock Act, to secure abortion justice, to finally finalize the Equal Rights Amendment, which we're pushing President Biden to do in the next 39 days. And on this point, I'm so proud to be one of 2 Black women to ever sponsor legislation to ratify the ERA in its 101 years long history, to have co-founded and co-chaired the first ever congressional caucus on the Equal Rights Amendment. Black women have always been integral to the fight for equal rights and so often relegated to its footnotes. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and I have forever changed that. My life experiences have shaped and informed this work. I've been violated. I've been shot at, raped, and assaulted by people I've known and people I've loved. So I deeply understand the statistic that a woman is 5 times more likely to be murdered when her abuser has access to a gun, because I am one of those women who have come close to joining that statistic. It's why I pushed so hard for the inclusion of ending the dating partner loophole in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, because I know safer communities doesn't just mean safer streets. It means safer relationships too. I've been beaten, brutalized, and assaulted as a Ferguson Frontlines activist. I've grieved with my community for Mike Brown, Kajimi Powell, Von Derek Myers, Anthony Lamar Smith, and so many others, so many others. I know that police brutality is a preventable crisis, that it is affecting Black and Brown communities disproportionately. It is what our movement to save Black lives is born out of, and it is why I partnered with that same movement to author the People's Response Act, to end police brutality, to end all police violence, to transform community safety, to treat public safety as the public health issue that it is. I am one of just over 180 Black representatives to ever serve in this institution where over 1,700 members of Congress who enslaved Black people have held office. And as the Congresswoman representing the very district where Dred Scott was denied citizenship because he was Black, I've seen how the legacy of enslavement persists in the policies that govern our lives today, from housing and healthcare to education and economic inequality to mass incarceration and police brutality. It's why I introduced the Reparations Now resolution, laying out a historic framework for how our government can begin its moral and legal obligation to provide reparations to the descendants of chattel slavery in America. Because it isn't enough just to acknowledge the past. We must work to reckon with its consequences and act to repair its harms.
Come on, reparations.
I ran for this seat to deliver for you, St. Louis, for the people. Over the past 4 years, we have delivered over $2 billion in federal investments for our communities, resources that will empower our district and create lasting change for generations. This includes over $41 million, which has gone toward community projects geared towards homelessness prevention, public health, youth engagement, environmental justice, and economic revitalization projects across St. Louis. We have helped to guide thousands of our constituents through federal casework, and we established community programs such as Congress in your neighborhood and Congress in your classroom. I've refused to settle for crumbs handed to our communities. I've sat and listened to SEIU caregivers and so many other union workers and leaders. I've been in community with environmental organizers pushing for climate action. I've mourned with grieving families demanding an end to violence, communal violence, gun violence. I've been with the mom who couldn't afford childcare or who struggled to feed her family. So when the president asked us to fight for his economic agenda, his full economic agenda, I fought, we fought. Those sitting behind me, we fought for his full economic agenda. But for a few corporate Democrats, the Build Back Better Act would be the law of the land now. We would have stopped talking about rising inflation and instead delivered on universal pre-K and affordable child care, a permanent monthly tax credit, paid leave, free school meals, investments in our caregivers, historic funding to build new affordable housing and rehabilitate crumbling housing stock, expanded Medicare benefits, taxes on billionaire corporations and the ultra wealthy so that they can finally pay their fair share, and lastly, removing every lead pipe poisoning our communities. We may have lost that fight, but there must be a reckoning. This November election has shown that we were right to fight. We were right to fight as hard as we fought, to put everything we had for Build Back Better. This party must do better. I've been unhoused. I know the trauma of that policy violence, of being forced out on the streets, of not knowing if my 2 babies would survive the night in our car because of freezing temperatures. I know that. It's why I introduced the first of its kind legislation called the Unhoused Bill of Rights, which makes clear the basic human rights and dignity of our unhoused neighbors. It provides the roadmap for ending homelessness by 2027. Congress can do that. We can guarantee safe, affordable, and stable housing for all people, and we must. I still remember also, which is what we just heard from Congresswoman Ramirez, the day in August 2021, when we were on the brink of the expiration of the federal eviction moratorium. And with a bill waiting to be passed on the House floor, Congress actually gavelled out to head to the comforts of their own homes for the next 6 weeks. Knowing the indignity of being evicted myself, I could not leave. And I did not leave. And I had friends who stayed or who showed up and came back. Squad shows up. Because for months prior, we had pushed the Biden administration and CDC to prevent a lapse in the pandemic era federal ban on evictions. I knew that so many lives in St. Louis and nationwide were at risk. So I did what I do. I led from my life experience and stayed put right on the Capitol steps. For 4 nights and 5 days through cold rain and summer heat, we pushed for our government to act. My team and I negotiated with the House and Senate leadership, with the White House, Biden administration officials, including HHS and Treasury, and worked in tandem with the Congressional Black and Progressive caucuses to keep people housed. And the White House heeded our call, reinstating the eviction moratorium and keeping 11 million people housed. But it shouldn't take such drastic action from lawmakers to act. The risk of harming a single person when you have the power not should be enough. Again, as my time here comes to a close, I ask my colleagues here to do better. The decisions we make here within these walls do not exist in a vacuum. They ripple outward, touching the lives of millions. They impact the unhoused veteran searching for safety, the survivor waiting to be heard and believed, the child admitted to the emergency room because they're asthmatic and can't breathe. We must honor the humanity and circumstance of those we serve, because being in Congress is a privilege. Don't waste it and don't settle. Don't say, well, we tried. Don't abuse the power we've been afforded to make a difference in people's lives. The people are depending on you to show up for them and their need. You have the power to change the world, so don't sit on that power. Use it to do good deeds and to save and transform lives. We are the United States of America. We are the wealthiest and most powerful country in the world, so we can't act like the court jester. So do better. But if you're not willing to do the hard work to shirk the corporate donors in service of everyday people, then how can you call yourself a representative? I understand this, and it is why I was one of the first members of Congress, along with those sitting here with me today, to call for a ceasefire, and why I am the lead sponsor of the historic Ceasefire Now resolution. It's why I kept calling for a ceasefire even after the White House called us. They called us repugnant. They called us disgraceful, only to turn around and later adopt the same policy without an apology, without even so much as a phone call. It's why I will keep standing up for Palestinian liberation and against genocide, against the infanticide, against the femicide, and against the androcide. It's why I will fight for peace and against endless war, for our collective humanity and against our collective demise, even when my persistence bought, and yes, I said bought, my successor the seat with a whole lot of Republican money. For me, when I came into office, I vowed to be the same person I was then as I am today, to lead with a heart that knows no borders. My love and my fight have always been for all the people. When I was first elected, I toured John Lewis's office. I stood in the space where courage once sat, and I vowed to honor his legacy. And I know many of us in this body have done the same. But let's be honest. Too many of us recite his words without following his example. Too many of us who should be allies remain silent in the face of injustice. Many of us, especially my Democratic colleagues, we tout that we are the party for human rights, the party for justice, that we fight loud and proud for all people, no matter their race, their background, sexual orientation, faith, or ethnicity. Yet when it comes to Palestinian liberation, so many have chosen silence. Silence in the face of bombed hospitals and schools, displaced families, starvation and illness, entire bloodlines wiped out, and the cries of mothers and children. Silence in the face of apartheid, silence in the face of ethnic cleansing, silence in the face of oppression and racial subjugation that mirrors the systems of Jim Crow, systemic racism and inequality that we fight against here in America. Silence. Maybe for some it's because it's easy. or because the politics are, what do we hear, too complicated. Those are excuses. Those are cop-outs to doing the right thing. And as members of Congress, they are hindrances to doing our jobs. In the words of Dr. King, the time is always right to do what is right. So I will keep leading with consistent love and consistent respect for all people, no matter their background, the color of their skin, or where they were born. I will fight for every person's right to live, to love, and to thrive. I will keep standing up for a free Palestine, for a free Haiti, for a free Congo, for a free Sudan, for a free St. Louis, for a free America, for a free democracy. I will always fight for the people in our country and world who have the greatest need, for those who are incarcerated, unhoused, unemployed, uninsured, food insecure, struggling to make ends meet, for our children and for our elders, for victims and survivors of violence, for those persecuted and villainized, for every person who has been historically excluded, marginalized, silenced, or cast aside by entrenched systems of violent oppression, repression, white supremacy, and systemic injustice. And if you think it is this consistency or this radical love that is a weakness, a mistake, or the reason why I won't be here next year, no. My radical and unconditional love for humanity is not a weakness. It's my superpower. The only reason why I will not be here next year is because I didn't bend my morals to special interests. They tried to silence me, but it didn't work. They thought I would crack under the pressure, but they underestimated me. They tried to buy me, but you can't buy someone who refuses to be bought. No one can buy my silence. No one can pay me to be silent so their people can then go and drop bombs on other people. I made a decision to be changed, not chained. I am reminded of a scripture in Mark 8:36. For what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? My colleagues, I share the words of Dr. King, who said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Colleagues, special interests would have you believe
like I said, she looks amazing. Like I said, she was defeated in her re-election because the Super PAC put a lot of Republican money into her race. Again, Black Lives Matter activist. She has a book on Audible, her memoir. It was a great book. Check it out in a physical copy or on Audible. Learn about Cori Bush. She was a nurse. She stood up for them, and basically they put them. Basically, she was going against Biden's administration for fighting for a ceasefire for Gaza, like she said. And so, you know, there is still a lot of silence again, and there isn't any coverage because the whole media is centered and focused around Trump and his policies and his cabinet. And so there still isn't any coverage, even though we've finally gotten past this awful election. And so there still isn't any world news coverage and world issue and world international policy coverage like that. Like, they're not showing it to us, right? President Biden was in Angola, like, you know what I mean? And they were all in France, like, but they're not showing that. They're only showing the CEO murder and the Jay-Z allegations and the Trump stuff. And so it's still like how things are being framed in the media. Like she said, the Biden administration quickly then adopted that policy that they were trying to work on a ceasefire, then did not apologize or take back their comments about the squad or about Cori Bush and Rashida Tlaib. And again, one, having us finding each other is a part of having, as people of color, is a part of white supremacy being able to win and to be stronger, to have its foothold, as well as again, like Nikki Giovanni even was talking about, is how it connects to why some people of color, be they Black, be they Arab American, be they Latino or Latinx, that they maybe would vote conservative or would have voted conservative for the federal election, but for their local elections like ALC and Rashida Tlaib, voting them back in, but a seat like Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, that they would lose their seats. And so, anyways, I just wanted to touch on that as a powerful speech. I appreciate her. One last thing, I appreciate her talking about her personal life, talking about her own struggles, talking about Mike Brown, talking about being on the ground and protesting, talking about reparations. Half of the senators and the people, the Congress people or whatever, they don't even want to talk about reparations because they don't want to lose their seats and be labeled and be penalized for that, just like defunding the police or whatever. When if the police are being grossly overpaid and their budget is grossly overpaid, why wouldn't we want to reel that in? That's called oversight. That's not necessarily called like something new or something radical like eliminating the police or anything. That's called being sensible with the money that they're spending. What else are they going to spend it on? They're the police. They're going to spend it on guns. They're going to spend it on jailing people. They're not helping in no other ways like that. Anyways, okay. So I just wanted to get into all of that for y'all. Okay. And so now I was going to show this, but I'll save that actually maybe for next time. I'm going to get into I know what it is. Let me see. Here we go. Now, in light of all the new allegations that are coming out, I thought we should really talk about mental health. We should really talk about abuse and cycles of abuse, and that we should talk about this interview Drea Kelly did with Carlos King.
In my face.
I just thought she did a really, really good job of breaking down.
What if I told you there was a way to get rid of ads like this?
I took a course on cycles of harm, breaking down generational curses and cycles of harm, on really talking about, of course, the labels and the stigma and scrutiny of having been R. Kelly's husband, R. Kelly's being her husband, that she deals with, her being called, like, people making assumptions and saying that she was a part of whatever trafficking was going on in R. Kelly's case. And of course, we're talking about P. Diddy. Of course, we're talking about Jay-Z's allegations. I'll talk about those and show some things about those in a little bit. And I'm a Beehive member, you know what I mean? I really want to call myself a Beehive. I love all the artists I love equally, and I love Beyonce very, very much, like super, super much. But I wouldn't say I'm a Beehiver, like I follow the Beehiver, like I be on every single thing or fighting about her records or stuff like that. Like I want to call myself Beehiver, but I do want to talk about all of that stuff in the context of having a conversation about mental health, in the context of having a conversation about the cycles of harm and abuse and how people end up in these situations. And I thought that she did a really, really good job of breaking that down. So we're going to get into Drea Kelly on Reality with the King.
Very much. Let's talk about it. It don't need to go there. Let's not. And I don't like to fight. I'm not. I will protractor you to death. I will gouge, listen, I will shank you like we in a prison yard, ma'am, because what you're not finna do is scratch up a face and pull out my hair. So you come over here. No, I got a protractor with your name on it. I don't do that. I'm from Chicago, the South Side. You will get jugged. Like straight up and down. Like,
not jugged.
You will get jugged. Don't even do that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I had to take the L, the bus, and walk on the south side of Chicago. I'm prepared. Switchblade down, Vaseline ready. Don't do it. I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. Because listen, Carlos, you growing up in Chicago on the south side, you had to know how to defend yourself. It was no joke. Like you couldn't be out in these streets playing. But here's the thing: we come from an era now. People, these thumb gangsters. They quick to say something and DM you, or you would never survive back in the day before social media because you would get bopped in your mouth. Like, girl, you will get scalped on the yard. Don't play like that. But now people have the comfort of I can say this and put this out here and be hateful and hide behind my phone or my iPad or my computer. Like back in the day, wasn't no hiding. You said it, you get your ass whooped.
Well, not only do you know how to fight, you also are an amazing dancer.
Thank you.
So are you a trained dancer? Like, did you like do dance classes and like go to a separate dance school? Because you are amazing at your craft.
Thank you.
You really are.
Oh, I like to say I'm the most trained, untrained dancer on earth.
Really?
Because here's the thing. My mama had to decide between the light bill and dance class. Guess what was going to win every time? That light bill. When she had to choose between, do I pay rent or send you to dance class? She had to pay rent. So it was when I went, I remember on the south side of Chicago, I went to Sammy Dyer, and my first day in class, that's what they asked my mom, like, where is she trained? Like, who is her master or her mistress? She has amazing technique. My mom was like, oh no, that's all her. That's natural. She's never done dance class before. It was just one of those things, but it's in my DNA. My mom was a dancer. Her sister, my Aunt Brenda was a dancer. My grandma Doris was a dancer. So it
Okay, so if you don't know who Drea Kelly is, let me rewind for just a second. Drea Kelly is the ex-wife of R. Kelly. She did Reality with the King, with Carlos King. She's talking about how she went into the how she got into the relationship with him, how it became abusive, her background, where she came from, and the abusive background that she came from, how they navigated the early days of his career together, how she tried to get away, and different things like that. And so let's get back into it. But I wanted you to hear like her talk about who she was before R. Kelly. So yeah.
It was just in me, passed down to be a dancer. But I oftentimes would feel like, oh, well, man, if I would have had that kind of training, I could have been a part of Elle. And I remember going to Debbie Allen School, Dada, in LA. Felicia Rashad was there, and I'm in the back office. Now, mind you, I see Debbie Allen, I fall out crying. Honey, it's a picture of me, snot flying. I done threw my purse, shoes, everything. But it was the moment I sat with Felicia, and there was an older lady. I can't even remember. I swear, Carlos, I think this woman was an angel, because I promise I turned back and she wasn't there. And I was like, I could have sworn there was somebody else in this room besides me and Felicia. But what she told me, because I was telling her, you know, I haven't trained and I wish I had more training because I would be I would be on Broadway. And she said it in her Maya Angelou voice. She's like, darling, the fact that you have not trained is not your downfall. It is your gift. It changed my life instantly. Changed my life instantly, because here I am looking at posters of Debbie Allen on the wall. And, you know, she's a Broadway girl, down, legs down, pirouette.
The fact that you have not trained is not your weakness. It is your gift. Felicia Rashad, who also was a part of the world of Bill Cosby. And there's a victimization, even if they was in the dark, and even if they didn't get assaulted by him or didn't know what all he was doing, Bill Cosby has. There's still a victimization of the women in his life. And then they have to deal and live with the fallout for the rest of their lives. in their careers. But I think the quote by Felicia Rashad, I think that's a good quote for people, like I said, like go back to school, like do the things, like go after your goals, do whatever you got to do. You know, just keep living, just keep trying, don't give up. I think it's easy for us to get to a place where you've given up and to be in a space of giving up and not realize that you've even have gotten there, you know? But anyway, okay. Where did it go though? Here.
What's down, triples, doubles, fame. And I'm like, I didn't get that kind of training, but I'm like, but look what you do have. So it taught me in that moment, don't worry about what you don't have, what you didn't get. Use what you do have to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed my life. It changed. I never looked back after that. After years of being a dancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really amazing because, you know, listen, when we see you dance, we see the technique and the artistry, and knowing as much as I do know about you, I know you love the art of it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even right now you're smiling about it. So when you were in Chicago, is that just something you like went to after high school? Like what was your career trajectory post high school?
Oh, so when I was able to go, my mom could afford, I would take classes here and there at Sammy Dyer. And then I went to Joel Hall, which is in Chicago. I would take classes here or there. But then eventually I just started my own dance company, AKDT, Andre Kelly Dance Theater. I didn't have anybody to like mentor me through. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. God put it in. And I'm a firm believer that God does not give you the vision if he does not have provision to make it happen. He does not bring you to it if he's not going to bring you through it. All we have to do is be obedient to the gift. God don't ask us perfect the gift. He says, be obedient to the gift. And that's what I did. Like after high school, I was like, okay, well, let's see. And then I went and auditioned for my ex, honey. And the rest is history. Yes. And I was not even going to audition for him because I'm what people call a bunhead. Bunheads, ballerinas, you see them. And usually, like for my hair to be down today is a miracle. God probably coming tomorrow is the coming of Jesus at this head. Baby, I was a theater kid. Like I love performing and acting. So when they was like, he's having auditions, I was like, what? R&B? Never. I'm a ballerina. I'm a jazz dancer. No. Went audition, turned that audition upside down, baby. Because I was also a gymnast and an All-American cheerleader. So I was like, well, here's your chance. Let's make, and that's how I actually started as his principal dancer and choreographer. A lot of people don't know that.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on most weekdays, I can show you one simple trade that could potentially bankroll your retirement. Hi, I'm Dave Aquino, and I help ordinary people go after their retirement goals sooner by teaching them how to master the retirement trade. This is a special trade designed to be used every morning between 9 a.m. and 10.
And that's why I want to talk about it with you. And listen, I want to respect the situation that you're in, and I want to respect your own boundaries. So feel free, you know, if there's something that makes you uncomfortable, because I'm not here to make you uncomfortable at all. I'm here to make sure that hopefully for the last time, you're able to just clear the air, because a lot of people do have it wrong about you, and they have these interpretations, and I'm sure you saw a lot of this online. So I want to give you the floor to clear the air. So obviously your ex-husband is R. Kelly, and you were the principal choreographer for his tour upon auditioning. That's how you guys met. When you guys were dating, how did it all come about? He approached you?
Well, first of all, when I first started working here, I was engaged. I was living with my fiance, about to be married. Like I wasn't thinking about his ass. No, I was that girl that's like, I will never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 never date you. Ever. I was that girl because I was like, I am so in love and we're getting married. And at this time, I'm living with him, my fiance at the time, him, his grandmother. I was very close with his family. So I would just go to work, do what I do, my choreography. I was out. we ended up being really cool because he was like, yo, like, you have a vision. So I feel like I was more than just a choreographer and principal dancer, more of a creative director on what our wardrobe. People don't know. I was in the Bob Mackie program. I do fashion, like literally I sketch, I do real, like I'm not one of them celebrities here, just throw my name on it. Like I was really into it, like going to Merchandise Mart, going to Fashion Week. I love designing. I do interior design. People don't know that. There's so many layers to me. But anyway, I digress. That's how I ended up working with him. People have no idea. Honey Love, met him right after that. But when it came to Summer Bunnies, that's actually me on the cover. There's him sitting in a car and you see this girl's booty with a thong. That's actually me. I'm in the Summer Bunnies video. I did all the choreography for Summer Bunnies. People have no idea that I'm in Thoyin Thoyin. That's me in the geisha face. That's me with the big wig in front. People have no idea it's me in Happy People. I did the wardrobe. I did the choreography for that. People can go look at Billboard Awards. That is me on stage with him. Every tour he's ever been on, that's me on stage with him. So I really don't feel like I owe anybody a goddamn explanation about me and what I do. But for those who choose not to do the research and they are quick to say, well, she kept the last name. And then people say, well, Tina Turner did too. And they'll say, well, Tina Turner brought something to the table. You don't even know what I do. You don't even know what my profession is. And at the end of the day, how do I bring a table when I am the table? I don't have to bring anything that I am. At the end of the day, I'm the table, I'm the knife, fork, spoon, plates, food, everything we eating on it, the dessert, the food fight, and the cleanup after. I bought a whole womb. I birthed children. So for women to even say something like that is sad to me, because that means that you totally negate and discount a woman's position as a wife and a mother. That is one of the most selfless jobs you will ever do that you will never get credit for. And because you can't clock what I do, because you haven't done your research, you think it's okay to go on the internet and say, she don't do nothing. Tina Turner did something. The only difference between me and Tina Turner is she sang on the stage with Ike. I danced on one with Robert.
So people have commented that your kids are grown. Why do you still carry R. Kelly's last name due to the fact that you know what he's in jail?
She tried it on Tina a little bit. We're not going to try it on Tina at all, ever. But I don't think it matters. A lot of women who go through divorce keep their name. It just depends on the circumstance. Celebrity family, keep the name. That makes sense. Having been married and keeping the name, having been married, having kids and keeping the name so that you can be recognized with your kids. All of that makes sense. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the cycle of abuse stuff, but whatever. Just like, it's no big deal to me.
For your kids are grown, girl, you don't need it. How do you feel when people say that?
What you feel? I don't. At the end of the day, I earned this name in blood, sweat, and tears. It's my kid's name. And my analogy is this. When all the shit hit the fan, how would you feel if your name is Brown and your kid's name is Brown and your family goes through something, you tell your kids, oop, you were Brown by yourself. I'm out. I don't want, no. If my kids have to go through it as Kelly, they mama going through it as Kelly. If you had to put up with the bullshit as Kelly, I'm going to make sure that I take the tarnish off this name and you live and celebrate the name Kelly. At the end of the day, people shouldn't be worried about why I kept the last name. They should be worried about what I do with the last name, because the last name Kelly gets 2020 to follow me. The last name Kelly gets me on CNN to talk about domestic violence awareness and be an advocate. The last name Kelly allowed me to go on military bases and talk about abuse. The last name Kelly had me go to universities. And here's the real gag. Boo, if my name wasn't Kelly, you wouldn't even care. My name means more to you than it does to me. Because Miss Jones is going through the same thing I'm going through right now. Miss White is going through it. Miss Anderson is going through it. But y'all don't care about it. Y'all not on her page commenting. You're not trying to be an advocate. You're being nosy. Why? Because my last name is.
What I thought was super, super interesting about her saying that right there is she's saying that if my name wasn't Kelly, y'all wouldn't care. Just like y'all don't care. Y'all say R. Kelly was on trial. I mentioned this like last week or so. R. Kelly was on trial for child pornography. Y'all will not acknowledge these things. And it's the same thing with the DL culture. It's the same thing with the denialism. Y'all will not acknowledge certain things even when people do speak up. So yes, it took the wife of R. Kelly to legitimize everything for surviving R. Kelly to happen. Everyone knew he tried to marry Aaliyah when she was underage. Everyone knew about the child pornography case. Everyone knew about other allegations he had. Everyone seen when Keke Palmer was in the studio with him. K. Michelle said he put her in the studio and wouldn't let her leave for making songs back to back. Like, everyone knew these things. Y'all cannot keep with this deniability and with acting like y'all don't know everything. I just don't understand that part of it. Y'all know. Y'all know. Everyone knew about that. People have been coming forward about Jay-Z for years. People have been coming forward about Diddy for years. People have been coming forward about for Bill Cosby Bill Cosby for years. It took the wife to have to legitimize everything for them to be corroborated amongst each other, for them to come out for surviving R.
Kelly. So again, you shouldn't worry about why I kept the last name. You should be celebrating what I do with the last name. And there's a lot of y'all out here who's giving y'all kids last name to a baby daddy that don't claim you or the kids.
Ooh.
When he started to hit on you romantically, you were in a relationship, you were engaged, you lived with the man and his grandmama child.
Yes,
okay?
old school, that's outside.
So what happened where you thought like you'll never, ever leave this man you love? So what happened the moment Robert approached you and all of a sudden you two got married, had 3 kids?
Ooh, well, 2 things happened because I came home off tour and it was a baby laying on my bed. When I came back to my fiance's house, I was like, what is this? That's the realest looking Cabbage Patch I ever seen. That's a real baby, be real. Who is this? He's like, oh, I got to tell you something. Oh, lies. You ain't got to tell me shit. I'm out. One thing about Dre, I'm like, the old me, we don't even need to have a conversation. This is what you're doing while I'm on tour making money, sending money home for you and mama and grandmama. And listen, what's understood don't need to be explained, player. I'm good.
Your fiance had a baby on you.
And he listen, here's the gag. Not until years later do a DNA test to find out it wasn't even his. I said, nah. That vagina had a revolving door on it and your dumb ass walked through it. You deserve everything you got. But I love him.
You do?
I love him. At that time, that's what I felt. That's what I felt like. That's what you get.
So that allowed your heart to be open to someone else.
It did. Because like I said, I'm like, when I'm an Aquarius. When I love you deep. I love you hard. I love good, bad, or indifferent.
I feel like that means R. Kelly was a rebound.
I'm not concerned about what people do. I'm like, why do you do what you do?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the root. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's see if it's something we can work through. But that was just complete foolery. I was like, really? Okay, well, you and your baby mama be happy. I'm going back on this road. And it just opened up a door for him again, because me and Robert were more like best friends, like brother and sister, mama jokes. He loved to play basketball, go with him to play basketball, video shoots when he's working with Michael Jackson. Like I was always there, his right hand, like, Drea, what do you think about this? Okay, well, how does this sound? I need a word for this. Or, all right, we working on stage and lighting. What are the costumes going to be? Well, you do the auditions, you get the dancers. So I was more of a creative director for him. So every album, I mean, like this, me and him working that thing out. So again, that just opened the door for like, oh, I can't believe he did it. He had a baby on me. There's that shoulder.
Who was he before he first put his hands on you?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know, because you will never know who a real narcissist is.
Was he like love bombing you in the beginning? Like,
oh, love bombing. Like I remember one time we were going to Europe and he's like, hey, because everybody called me baby girl back then. I was the youngest on the crew. Like I was so young, I couldn't even go to the after parties with them. I wasn't even 21 yet. Yeah. And here's another thing that people don't know. They judge me based off of the woman that sits here today, the woman you see on Instagram. Carlos, I met him when I was 19. He was 26, about to be 27. So all the young women that we're talking about today, I was one of the young women. And that's, again, one of those things that people have me so misjudged, that you look at what you see today. Do you remember? You have to go back in time and remember when I met him, how young I was. I wasn't even 21. Couldn't even drink, couldn't even go to a club with him. But that's in my book. We'll talk about Under the Red Carpet, and we'll talk about that too. But no, I don't know if there was really a real way to know who he was. I think most abusive men have a representative because they don't want you to see the monster. Because of course, if you see the monster, you out. And people have to know that. Like most women, we don't know the difference between a charming man and a cunning man. They look the same. A charming man is going to take you to dinner, buy you flowers, buy you gifts, even tell you how much you remind him of his mama and how much he loves you. And a cunning man's going to do the same thing. The difference is a man that's trying to charm you and dote on you is a healthy relationship. A man that's cunning, he's trying to get you in the web. He's trying to get your defenses down. He wants to find out where that bruise is on you so he knows exactly where to push. And for him, he knew my grandfather was abusive. My mother was abusive. He's abusive. So, now we have this kindredship that we both come from abuse. He grew up in a household with abuse. He dealt with illiteracy. People don't know abuse and illiteracy really go hand in hand, because you're always trying to fight that part of you that people call stupid, that they call dumb. He was not once, not twice, but 3 times. So here we are, 2 broken kids in this world. You add fame, money, and then a record label that don't give 2 about whether you're healthy or not, make the money, cut the albums, and make other people money and us at the same time. So there's no reason for you to get help. We need you to stay as sick as you are, because as sick as you are makes us money. I'm in this web now. So I don't think I've ever known who the true him is. I think I've seen him show up one.
I'll put it on there. Okay. So she's talking about grooming. She's talking about R. Kelly being a rebound, that she had her heart broken, that even though she was like she could move on from the relationship with her previous fiance, that she was like not trying to be messing with her artist, and that she was in a vulnerable place, and that she just had broken up with him. So there's that. Her saying that she was 19. Her saying that she was the youngest of everyone who was there. Yeah, he wants to marry and wife her. And although 19 and 26, that's not like super bad necessarily, but it, in the culture of abuse and R. Kelly going after underage people, it is a part of that, and it does lean into that and speak to that. She did not touch on Aaliyah at all during this time. And I wonder, like, what is the correlation between when he tried to marry Aaliyah and they got an annulment, I guess, and when he eventually did marry Andrea Kelly. But she again is saying that she was one of those. She's just like the same girls who are coming out in the Survivor R. Kelly documentary and the accusations. I touched on this already in one of the shows, but I did not like how they tried to speak for Aaliyah experience in the Survivor R. Kelly. You know what I mean? I think it's relevant, but I think that it's just a shame that Aaliyah can't tell her story herself one day, you know. But anyway, and I just think it's super relevant. I am gonna go ahead, I think, and stop. I wish just had like the breakdown of the stuff. But like she said, oh, the grooming, and you can't know who a narcissist is, or you don't know who is someone who is a predator who is coming for you. And as ladies, as women, and even this goes back to protecting ourselves and our sexual health as well, speaks to is by the time a man is making an action on something, he's already been sitting up thinking about doing it and doing it, you know? And so I feel like we have to be mindful of that too. Like sometimes red flags isn't like, oh, a red flag, like, oh, you should just quit right now. It's a red flag because it's showing you like that there is levels to how this person's brain is thinking and what they're willing to do. And conceal and lie about and all of those different things. So let's get back into it a little bit. I'm gonna let this part go a little bit, and then I'm gonna skip it ahead, and then I'm gonna move on.
One time though, and that's when he laid in my lap and cried like a baby about that little boy in him that haunts him, the little boy in him that was, and the little boy who couldn't read, the little boy who could not even look at a street sign and figure out how to get home if he was lost because he couldn't read the signs. And I don't think I've ever seen him since.
So when you were dating him, that's when you uncover that he couldn't read and he was able to confide in you about at least some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do know, just talking to women, is a lot of men who are savvy. And this is a sign that a lot of women should look out for, that men can spot a broken woman and they prey on the broken woman. They can tell when a girl has daddy issues, and it's not anything you sort of like say or, you know, do. It's something men can see and tell. And unfortunately, that's their way of manipulating you, because they know how to take your trauma and make it applicable for their gain, whether it's their gain in like controlling you or whatever the case may be. But I have learned through this process, and that's why I'm so happy, because a lot of people don't know that you were 19. Yeah, 19. And what we know now is preying on younger women, because and preying on women who have issues and trauma and abusive background. So the fact that that was something he saw and preyed upon makes a lot of sense to me, because that is a pattern that we don't talk about.
We don't.
A lot of people, unfortunately, which surprises me, still judge to this day. That would never be me. A man hits me once, I'm out the door. And obviously a lot of women do that, and I'm proud of them. But I'm also proud of women who have been honest to say, until you're in it, you just don't know.
Well, here's the thing too. People are so miseducated when it comes to domestic violence. The physical is the aftermath of all the other abuse you've already been in. So all these women that say, when he put his hands on me, I'm out the door, he's already been verbally abusive. He's already been emotionally abusive. He's already been probably abusive. He's probably already been financially abusive to you. The physical is the aftermath of all of that. I have to break you down and get your self-esteem so low that you question any and everything about you. I often say it's like cutting down a tree. You don't swing the axe one time at the trunk of a tree and it falls. It's several swings of the axe until you get that trunk so weak and so chipped away that literally you can just blow and it'll fall over. That's the true cycle of abuse. So most of these women that say, oh, I would never, as soon as he put his hand, how many times has he called you a dumb bitch? How many times have you asked this man to pay a bill in the house and he tell you don't question him about the money, where it come from, what? You don't even realize you're in a toxic relationship. And I advocate for women to be educated on what that looks like. Relationships are one of two ways. A healthy relationships are good days with bad moments. Toxic relationships are bad days with good moments. Most of you all are having bad days with good moments, and you want to claim that it's a healthy relationship. You don't even know you're in something toxic. And 9 times out of 10, you have been somehow exposed to it in your life. Like for me, it was my grandfather. It wasn't so much what my grandfather did that changed me, it's what my grandmother didn't do that changed me. Because I accepted he was a monster. It was the fact she got up the next day and made that man breakfast like nothing ever happened.
Because you saw your grandfather, your grandmother.
He was her, not hitting her, literally taking her head on the glass pane of the door. And I hear something going. I come down the stairs, and this is all in my book. And I look, and it is my grandfather against the glass pane door telling her, "Nail, I'll knock out of you." First of all, I'm like, you's a cussing pastor, and you's like, what is this?
And you were how old?
I had to be maybe 6 or 7. So that seed was planted in me. And that's why I'm like, yes, I'm very misunderstood because y'all judge something you don't know. I say we're all trees. We're branch, leaf, fruit, root. You have to know what's at the root of your tree to know why you bear the fruit that you do. What was at the root of my tree was abuse. The fruit of my tree was being in an abusive relationship, but y'all want to judge the branches. Y'all don't know the journey. You have no idea. I grew up with an abusive mother. My mom is a narcissist also. So when she would get angry, she would often hit my face. So I grew up never thinking I was beautiful. I still deal with that to this day. So when people come up to me and they say things like, oh, you're really pretty in person, or oh, you're much prettier in person, they have no idea how deep that goes for me. Because you have to think, if someone strikes you in your face, this is what you present to the world. This is the first thing that people see. So if your mother, the person who's supposed to love you the most, protect you, her go-to is the thing that you present to the world, that means you see nothing beautiful in me. You see no value in me, and you could not possibly love me to hit in my face. And I'm not talking like, oh, be quiet. I mean, with every inch of hate that woman could muster. So the way I grew up was to not love myself, to not think I'm worthy, and to feel that there's no escape from this. Because not only is it my grandfather, it's my mother. Now it's my husband. So that's why I'm in the place that I am today. Fuck y'all. With a capital F. Because you have no idea what it's like to go from being an abuser to an abused 19-year-old with a man who has this much power. And you're being abused by him. And you have nowhere to go. And no money to even do it with.
And you talk about this in your book too. First of all, my heart goes out to you, obviously. And that's the reason why I want to talk to you, Drea, because you would think in 2024, with all of the information that's out there, that people judge women who go through this. There's unfortunately a lot of people who look at Cassie and Puff's situation and they say, girl, please, you stayed in it for so long. You got the benefit of going to the Met Gala, these parties and all this stuff. And I'm like, do y'all not understand? And you may not know this, and I'm shaking right now. she too was 19 when she met Puff.
Most women in abusive relationships are young when they meet their abusers. What do you know about life? And then you meet this man in a position of power, and people don't understand. It's just not a Cassie going against Puff. The web is so big. It's not just him. You got to think, if your homeboy will knock somebody out in a club with everybody watching, what will he do to me in secret? People don't think about that. You have the money to make me disappear. That type of fear that you live under alone, if you will beat me within an inch of my life, and you are who you are and you're not afraid to do it, you don't think every day in the back of my head, I'm not thinking, this man could really get away with it. Because he has all these people who are willing to either take the rap for him, do it for him, cover up what he's doing. Why? Because they all benefit from it. At the end of the day, this is so much bigger than.
Okay, y'all. I am gonna wrap up soon, but and like speed through my next couple little things. But I'm so glad she said that. Again, just like I said, like there is those cycles of abuse, that generational trauma that she talked about, being introduced to abuse like that. It's one thing that she says. I'll try to find it. But anyway, like she said, like Carlos even said, and as a man, for a man to say it about other men, that they're able to see a broken woman, that they're able to recognize those different things in a woman, that they're able to pinpoint and identify victims, is because it's predatory. It's a predatory relationship, and a lot of men are like that because it's instilled in them in the patriarchy. It's instilled in them in their entire identity and their entire upbringing as men. And you know, it's something that they have to unpack for themselves and go to therapy and deal with. And also the glorifications. So the glorifications of these mega celebrities and these hip hop figures, and the glorification of DL culture and thugs and men and I want a bad boy and all that different kind of stuff. I've never been that type of person that I want a bad boy or I want a thug or nothing like that. I've never like got with that in my mind. Of course, as a trans woman, of course, as a woman, you're attracted to masculinity. That goes without saying. But however, I do think that is a lot of the problem a lot of times, and even just like we talk about Donald Trump's and the politics news cycles, these celebrity cycles, and like I said a couple weeks ago, cancel culture. No one really never got canceled though. Even Martha Stewart, even that Paula, the white lady, the grandma lady, even other people, Dave Chappelle, even other people. No one like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, like no one really got canceled though. They go through ups and downs just like anybody and the consequences of their actions. No one really got canceled because they're still making money. These people are still mega super rich. And again, the news cycles, Chris Brown, he may have lost a couple endorsements or a couple opportunities when he beat Rihanna, but he still is at the top of the charts now and has been all this time at the top of the charts, and people, and including women and cis women, supporting him and being like, no, fuck Rihanna, being like, no, we don't believe that, and all of this stuff. Like, y'all have to stop it with that. It's not like y'all empower the abusers and these people to continue to do the things that they do when you do that. And the glorification of it, I don't think that we glorify that. You mean that when people say that. I think that they mean that they admire the masculinity. But when you're saying that you want a pimp, or when you're saying that you want a thug or XYZ, yes, they beat they bitches. Yes. That's what it come with. Yes, the money, the fast cars, all that, the drugs, all that. It come with it. It come with that lifestyle. It come with those lifestyles. It comes with any lifestyle like being a trans woman or any lifestyle like being a Black woman that's adjacent to them and their choices and the consequences in their lifestyle. Yes, they beat their bitches. Yes, they're rapists. Yes, they have killed people. Trey have told me about things that they've did. And again, just as a Black woman, the men, they tell you the things that they done did and the things that they done been through, being shot, shooting people, all kind of different things. You know what I mean? Just as a Black woman, people, you know what I mean, tell you stuff. However, and see you as a figure that they can trust to tell you things. However, am I ever going to be like, oh, I want that, or I want that toxicity, or I want someone who even has those levels of morality? No. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think we have to be examining like how we talk. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, then they're surprised. Even with infidelity, you want a thug, you want a hard boy, a bad boy, all this XYZ, and then you're surprised that they are not faithful. Of course they're not. I don't know. Okay.
My ex, this is bigger than an R. Kelly. This is bigger than a Puff. This is so much
and
bigger.
then this part right here speaks to what I was saying about Aaliyah. It speaks to Cassie. Like he just said, Cassie was 19 when she met P. Diddy. The video with Cassie, y'all talking about the video where he beat her up in the hallway in the hotel. My thing is the video where he was making fun of her for her face being messed up and she was trying to cover her face up on the floor in the hotel. Like, that is the craziest, most degrading, horrible thing I've ever seen. Like, that is terrible.
Than what people understand. There's this vicious web. And you have them, the celebrity who's in the middle. But on the outside, you got the Nims who, for $5,000, his homeboy still living in the hood. That means my mama could eat. My kids could eat. I could possibly get in a new car. Yeah, I'll take $5,000 and do whatever you ask me to do. No problem. I have nothing to lose. Then you have the executives around them. You make us money. You write for other artists.
This is talking about
when you write for other artists, they make us money. We need you to keep writing. We need you to keep being
trying to get away for years.
And people don't understand. It doesn't even stop with the executives. Everybody gets paid off of our abusers being who they are. I'm going to give you a scenario. A concert, okay? When R. Kelly or a Puffy does a boy concert, do y'all not realize even the people in ballet who are valeting cars are getting paid? The people who are selling t-shirts at the concerts are getting paid. The people who are selling hot dogs and beers are getting paid. The sound, light, and stage guys are getting paid. The truck drivers are getting paid. The people who came to the concert who spent their money and got their hair done and bought new outfits and babysitters, they are even benefiting from it. I'm the lowest on the goddamn totem pole. I'm the least of those executives worried. Why? Because him being him allows all these people to get paid. And at the end of the day, this is how they feel about us. Bitch, shut up. Because when you talk, everybody's money. And people are so uneducated that they don't even think beyond that. They think, oh, it's a money grab. That's all the men understand. Their money allows them to do what they do. So then when a woman speaks a language that they understand, shout out to Cassie. Oh, now it's a money grab. Let me tell you something. These men can always make more money, but these women, the Michelles, the Keke Palmer, they can never make more time. I will never get that time back. I will never get those tears back. I will never get the broken ribs, the dislocated shoulders, the hairline. I will never be able to undo that. And all you got to do is do a press conference and put out another album and make more money.
When you are a powerful man and you are an abuser, there's a machine protecting you.
Yes.
And there's a machine covering things up. And oh my gosh, it's hit me. And obviously, here you are, a petite woman. A tiny thing. And you expect me, Andrea Kelly, to expose this machine Because it's one thing to tell the world R. Kelly hit me and he financially abused you. Because you talk about this in your book too, that the abuse wasn't always just physical.
No.
It was
Yes.
it was there's other forms of abuse. If this woman, right, dare to speak and unravel this $1 billion operation.
But again, it's a language that you understand.
Yeah.
You use your money to control, to manipulate, to embarrass sometimes. And what's so ironic, a lot of things that people don't know about me, meeting him at 19, I had an order of protection against him. I had a restraining order. If you go back and look, Matt Lauder, MTV News, this is public record, mind you. So when people are like, why is she coming forward now? No, he gave them babies that gift of music. And that's why I said, I'm done. Go to that doctor.
Want to simplify entry into the federal market? Then review
and
the
just one
free
more
practical
thing
guide
that you
to
said
getting.
that I'm gonna try to
I don't
find
know
or
if you have
saying.
this doctor working for you. What happens when she leaves the room and say, yeah, she and my baby carried that pain around for years trying to protect me. So don't tell me what I didn't do for my baby. Don't tell me what I didn't do as a mother when you don't know shit about me.
This is them saying that her daughter came forward saying that R. Kelly abused her too.
To the abuser, you turn around and give it to the mom who didn't do it. It's the most unfortunate thing. And again, going like everything you're saying to me, Drea.
Court, he's not there. And the judge had the audacity to say, well, Your Honor, our client is working. He's currently on tour. That's what helps him to provide the life. Girl, you know you married. You ain't gonna be able to hang with your friends like you used to no more. Girl, you married. You know that man gonna want you to stay in the house. So they're teaching women to sacrifice of self. They don't teach you a healthy man doesn't mind you having your own. I wish my mama would have done for me what you did for your son. She's still with my daddy to this day. Like I literally had grown men cry in my arms and say, my mama is still with my daddy and I don't know why and I want to kill that man. So that's why I say better. Because you can't even put a price on it. There's no value, no dollar amount that will ever bring me this joy.
I want to ask you two things I'm going to move on to from this. Number one, what is the number one sign that women can see that is a telltale sign that this man is a potential abuser?
Ooh, there's so many, but I would say the main one is women need to know the difference between compromise and sacrifice. They don't even know what it is. Because as little girls, well, first of all, let me take it way back. As women, we're conditioned to believe that love is violent. And I'm gonna tell you why. When we're little and we're on the playground and little boys pull our hair or they kick us or they tease us or call us fat or you're ugly and you tell your teacher it hurts my feelings, what's the first thing they tell little girls? He's doing that because he like you. He just picking on you because he like you. As little girls, we've been conditioned to believe that men and boys show us love through violence.
Yes, and so that is also like a part of what I was just saying about like the DL culture, the thug, hard boy, bad boy culture, or the over for glorification of that. And it's also one of the things that I think is a telltale signs that for me, that I was a trans person, like the ways that my peers who were gay men were harassed was not similar to the way that I was harassed. And I was harassed a lot relentlessly. And it was very much like a girl get harassed. They would pick me up and dunk me in the snow and the same things that they would do to the girls in front of people, in front of other people, touching me and doing and assaulting me and touching me and doing other things like they would do to girls, but in front of other people, and they would just write it off and say it like act like it never happened. But they saw it too, like all the people in the bystander saw it too, you know. And like she said, that is the patriarchy that we're talking about. When we use the word patriarchy, when we say patriarchy, that is what we're talking about, is that men can express themselves and do whatever they want to do, but we're supposed to live by this code of femininity and womanhood while they don't have to be accountable to anything. And so that was just what I wanted to cover with her. So really quick, I'm going to get into Remy Ma and Papoose. Remy Ma and Easy the Block Captain versus Papoose and Clarice Shields. Clarice Shields is a professional boxer. Easy the Block Captain is a battle rapper in Remy Ma's Battle Rap Network. This is Papoose and Remy Ma. They are going through an extremely messy public separation, and it's quite sad to see. We rooted for Papoose and Remy Ma, but what I do think is really particularly interesting about this case is that Clarice and Easy, like, they're so geeked to be the side people that it's like, and be in the media and be in the mess and the drama, that I feel like that's kind of like weird and extreme, for one. But for two, I'm not talking about these stories to talk about them because of the demise of this relationship, or because of the downfall of these people, but just because they're in the news and everything. But you know, it's sad to see. We all watched them on Love and Hip Hop. We all watched them get married. We all, you know, rooted for them, and for Remy getting out of jail, and for Papoose holding her down, and woo, 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 woo. And in the conversation, no, I don't think Papoose was faithful to her the whole time he was in jail. She was in jail. And I think that, you know, the stuff about Easy the Block Captain and her been out for months and months and months. So they must have already had decided to go their separate ways. And then Fat Joe was on the Breakfast Club this week, and he said that Remy Ma's album is ready to go. So I think all of this and them coming out with it is both of them being like, it is like them being like, fuck you. But it's sad to see a 17-year relationship with kids involved become that bitter, and for them to take it to social media like that's very petty, that's very childish on both of their parts. However, I just think that's like sad for them in their relationship. But I think a bigger issue is that I think that it's a publicity stunt, because she's gonna come out with her album like at the top of next year or something or whatever, and boom, you know what I mean? Everyone's gonna listen to it because she just broke up with Papoose, for real. You know what I mean? They already was talking about her and Easy the Black Captain being together, so she shouldn't be trying to come out against Papoose and try to put him on blast and all this and all that when she was the one who was found cheating first, whatever and whatnot. So anyhow, I think it's all petty, but I think it is a publicity stunt personally, just because her Fat Joe literally is on the Breakfast Club this week and said her album is ready to go and videos is shot and everything. So I think that they've been planning it for a while. But she then turned around. Let me go back. So this is a picture saying that they was all at their house last year for Christmas, and that she was there with Easy the Block Captain, and Papoose was there, and the kids was there. Papoose is somewhere like off to the side in this picture or whatever, and all of that or whatever. And Easy the Block Captain said, "I swear I helped put this tree up," or whatever, and being funny, and they're all being funny, and he was being funny, where Papoose snuck him at the battle rap event and for her network, and she let him go on there rapping about her like she was just some bitch he fucking. Like, that's crazy for you to let him come on your own network and just act like you was a random thought or whatever for a rapper. Like, that's crazy to me. But anyways, she went on to try to say, at Papoose, one more thing, since you want to put out lies for the media, can I let them know how you like your peach play with while your legs behind your head? Playtime over. And so I don't think that they need to do all of that. And I don't necessarily believe that about Papoose just because she said that. Y'all really need to grow up and stop just believing stuff just because somebody said something or said something controversial or gay or DL or whatever the case is. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that. Like, bitches been saying stuff like that. Like, that don't necessarily mean that. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's not true either. And even if it is, a lot of guys like that. So it's fine if they do like that or whatever. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gay or that they can't be in a relationship with a woman. So it is what it is. But I don't necessarily think that's true. I think she just said it to hurt him. And then I thought this was funny. from this boy. I can't think of his name right now, but Tyler James, I think, the boy that used to be Everybody Hates Chris, and he's on Abbott Elementary. But anyway, he was talking about this about his own case, so I just threw this in here. But it says, usually I wouldn't address stuff like this, but I feel like as a conversation is bigger than me, I'm not gay, but I think the culture is trying to find some kind of hidden trait or behavior that as a closeted person let slip is very dangerous. Overanalyzing someone's behavior in an attempt to catch them directly contributes to the anxiety of a lot of queer and questioning people feel when they fear living in their truth. It makes the most pedestrian in conversations, interactions, and spaces feel less safe for our gay brothers and sisters and those who may be questioning. It also reinforces the archetype many straight men have to live under, that it is often at times unrealistic, less free, and limits individual expression. I think it's weird to be like looking to see if someone is sus, but if somebody says they sus, like that's all. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Papoose and Remy is in the same celebrity circles as these people, as P. Diddy and these people. So who knows what all was going on and what they was into. And I'm sure they was swinging or having bitches together or whatever they was doing anyway too. And so then her and Clarissa Shields, 50 Cent, always eavesdropping into some women business shit. Says 50 Cent, whatever you do, don't fight her to Clarice. She will get the Blick champ. What the fuck is going on, man? I need to drink Branson Lifestyle or whatever. And so, anyway, it says Run the Fade. And then again, this is Papoose, Remy, and Easy to Block Captain. People is also drawing comparisons, saying they're Easy to Block Captain and Papoose look like each other. I would argue that they kind of look like each other as well, Remy and Clarice, and I feel like that's weird too, that they would both immediately move on to someone who looked just like the person that they was with. I feel like you wouldn't, even a normal person, even if you ended up back with somebody who you look like somebody you was with, you wouldn't go straight to another motherfucker look like who you was with. I feel like that's weird. Like you would want something different, leaving something or whatever, especially somebody, I don't know, you've been with that long or whatever. People are also saying that, you know, that Easy to Block Captain is the Team Move version of Papoose. And so they use the low budget, what you really got in real life from that versus the Amazon picture version of Papoose. So all of that is there. And so, of course, I just revealed to y'all that we're going to get into the Jay-Z allegations. And so let's get into it really super, super quick.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're breaking down the shocking assault allegation against Sean Jay-Z Carter. You've probably heard of the truly heinous charges leveled against disgraced hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, but this is the first time we've heard about Jay-Z's involvement. The news
That's not the first time.
Broke on December 8th when an anonymous accuser known only as Jane Doe filed a suit against the 24-time Grammy winner for an alleged assault committed after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Jane Doe claims to have been 13 years old at the time. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled to add Jay-Z as a defendant and was put forward by Texas attorney Tony Busby. Busby also represents dozens of other Combs accusers. In a statement, Carter dismissed the allegations against him. Quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." Welcome to Watch Mojo. Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're breaking down
allegations that came out against Jay-Z this week. This is, I'm not going to show this one yet. I'll show this one.
Jay-Z just made his first public appearance since being accused of raping a girl more than 20 years ago. In a united front, the hip-hop mogul hit the red carpet in Hollywood last night with his superstar wife Beyonce at the premiere of Disney's Mufasa, The Lion King. He was there to support Beyonce, who has a small part in the film, and daughter Blue Ivy Carter, who has a starring role. Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, was also at the event. A lawsuit claims Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl back in 2000. In a statement, Jay-Z denied the allegation, suggesting it was part of an extortion attempt, and filed for the lawsuit's dismissal. Combs has also denied the claims. He's currently behind bars, awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges.
Okay. And so what I just wanted to mention so far about the allegations is that I think it's I'm never siding with an abuser or standing up against the victim. But I think it is particularly shameful and contrary to every single thing that the Knowles and the Carters have stood for in regards to the kids, Blue Ivy and Rumi, and the boy child. I don't know his name, I forgot. But anyway, Beyonce's kids and Beyonce and her family. And I don't think that women should have to pay for the sins of a man, just like Drea Kelly. People try to blame her and say that she was a part of the trafficking, but she's saying that she left and that she tried to leave many times before that. You know what I mean? And that she wasn't there while there was other people there, but after that, that the same things that R. Kelly was doing to Drea Kelly was the same things that he was doing to the other victims. And so again, I don't think that Beyonce should automatically be pushed into everything and labeled with it, but they are, and that's why I'm covering it. And all of this conversation about the allegations, and it's so many allegations and video clips and coverage that you can find about Beyonce and about Jay-Z and Oprah, Harvey Weinstein, Steve Harvey, Trey Songz, all these different allegations against all of them. There's allegations against Usher. There's allegations against Nelly. There's many allegations, and y'all, again, continue to act like y'all have never seen or heard these things. Y'all have seen and heard them. And over the years, maybe not every single thing. And of course, there's stuff that I haven't even seen and stuff that I saw just this week in researching all of this that I had never seen before. But most of it I have seen before, and y'all did see before. You know what I mean? P. Diddy with Justin Bieber. We seen all of that. And it was always oh, we can't talk about it. When P. Diddy was with Ashton Kutcher, when P. Diddy was with Justin Bieber, when P. Diddy was with Russell Brand. Oh, we can't talk about it. They can't talk about it. They can't talk about what we do when they're with us. All this. But back to the Jay-Z and everything. I think that it's particularly disgusting that the allegations will come out the week of the Mufasa premiere. And that's a big, huge moment for Blue Ivy and Beyonce. And it don't have nothing to do with nobody else. And it's for an actual kids movie, which is crazy. Like, they could have chose any other time to come out with this stuff. And they've been talking about people who's going to come after Jay-Z and behind Diddy for 2-3 years. So it ain't no reason why it would have to come out during the Mufasa premiere. Then, yes, I see you, Chris. Yes. Beyonce was 16 and Jay-Z was 29 when they met. Yes. Again, they were very sheltered, little Christian, little girls, in Destiny's Child, and didn't really know nothing. And Beyonce could have had any celebrity man that she wanted. I also wanted to say, I never felt like Beyonce needed Jay-Z. Like, I never felt like that, ever. I never felt like that. And I also always didn't agree with the whole Beyonce and Remy Ma and Papoose is relationship goals. Who thinks someone's relationship is relationship goals? Maybe a family, maybe to have a family is a goal. Maybe to have a marriage or to have a partner or whatever is a goal. But oh, I want to be a Beyonce thing. Everybody in hip hop have to be Beyonce and Jay-Z. Every couple have to be Beyonce and Jay-Z. That's weird. It was unnecessary in the beginning. But I just wanted to name those things. I think it's particularly sad that it would come out during the Mufasa premiere and during the release of Tina Knowles going on Tamron Hall and releasing her book, Matriarch. And now they're all sucked into it. And again, I don't know why. Why would Tina be there? And why wouldn't Jay-Z just sit out at the Mufasa premiere? He could have just sat it out. And they could have went and put on the good face. And it would have served that good face publicity moment. But he didn't have to be there. Now you've completely sucked all three of them in particular into everything. And he knows that he is guilty of at least some of the things that people say. And again, y'all really have to get very sure with examining for yourself and checking sources and different things what y'all really is going to believe just because someone said it on the internet. I'm not telling y'all to believe every single allegation. And I'm not saying that I believe or what I don't believe, but I do believe that it's a lot of things that men do that they should pay for. And I don't think that should have to be on her just because she's his wife and she's going to deal with this fallout anyway. So trying to say that she needs to go down or all this and all of that is wrong, because the mob wives, when the mob men, when Teresa Giudice's husband just got caught up and swept up into scandal, she didn't have to go down, did she? I'm just saying. Okay. That was those. It is one. Here we go.
Carter calls out her attorney for submitting a quote false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. As Carter tells E! News in a statement on December 13th, this incident didn't happen. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. His attorney, Alex Spiro, adds to the statement.
He's being,
it is stunning
what
that
he is doing that he needs to not do is being too cocky in these statements. And again, we've been knowing about this stuff for years. So why is you trying to be so aggressive coming out and trying to squash them and discredit them? Exactly. For sure. Chris says for sure she herself is a victim in some degree. She was complacent, but like you said, in a sexist world, what power does she have? And we'll see. It will play out in the months and the years to come. It'll play out, and so we'll see what she was or wasn't complacent to. We'll see what she did or didn't know. You know what I mean? And she'll have to live with that, and has been living with that. But even in this, they're saying that Beyonce is on drugs. I don't personally believe that Beyonce does drugs because she obviously takes a lot of care of her body and dances and all of that, and is a health person. She eat plain Lay's chips. Because she tries to be healthy. So I don't personally believe that Beyonce does drugs because I would find it hard to believe that somebody runs 6 miles a day and be on tour and don't miss a beat and don't mess up. This is another thing that bothers me. It bothers me personally about drugs. I'm sorry. And it is kind of stigmatizing, but it's the denialism. We talk about it in the politics. We talk about it in hip hop. Y'all can in the DL closeted culture. Y'all cannot keep acting like people, you can't tell when people are on drugs. They're paranoid. Hygiene is up and down. Can't sleep, up and down. Constipation, all the different things that comes with doing hard drugs. Y'all have to stop acting like y'all can't tell that. I don't think Beyonce does drugs. We ain't never caught her slipping. I don't think she does drugs. But who knows? And they are celebrities, and it's a lot of drugs and coke and all of that in there, in the celebrity culture and the parties and all of that stuff. So I don't know, but I don't think that. But my point in saying all of that is they're like Beyonce, he been giving drugs to Beyonce. So even in that, even if she was complacent or was somewhere or seeing something or whatever case is, we just gotta wait for it to play out. And so I just wanted to cover it because I'm not gonna be a motherfucker that, even though I love Beyonce, I'm not gonna cover it or talk about it. And so that's why I wanted to cover it and talk about it. It obviously was one of the biggest stories in the world, but also pay attention to, we just went through this horrible ass election and these big, huge, mega pop stories are coming out to distract us. And I do think that they're distractions, whether it's a publicity stunt or not, whether people are telling the truth or not. And again, I'm never saying that victims are not telling the truth. And the Allie Carter girl, I actually kind of do believe her. Now these allegations, it's not Allie Carter. This is another person. I don't know who it was, but if it's a 13-year-old girl that P. Diddy was with on the VMAs with Ashton Kutcher, and invited to come to the party, to the after party, he said, come to the after party to a 13-year-old little white girl on the VMAs with Ashton Kutcher one year that I've seen. And if it is her that is the one who made this lawsuit, then I do believe that, because why would he be telling her to come to the after party on there? And he like laughed and was so weird about it. I don't believe that necessarily Jay-Z was there or did it necessarily. But if that's the girl and she's saying that happened that night, and the girl that's in the clip with Ashton Kutcher, I believe that because it was weird. And a lot of those clips with Diddy in particular are weird and can't be explained away. So anyways, that's all of that. I have just some lighter little things. I have my Laughing Liberally Milwaukee interview event tonight. Laughing Liberally is a comedy show at the comedy club tonight, so you can still get tickets and come down there, shoot down there. It's at 7, or no, it's at 8. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And so I'm going to wrap up because I do have to get myself together and get all down there. Again, we have Time Out Sayers annual sock drive coming up the 20th of December. Then we have the Black Pride Milwaukee's Winter Lights Gala coming up as well. And so I wanted to talk about the nominations, and these are all the award categories and the nominations. Here is the Community Leadership Award nominations. I'm nominated. My sister Mercedes is nominated. Chad is nominated. Montel is nominated. Ricardo and Cameron are nominated. Congratulations to everyone who is nominated in every category. And I love you all. And thank you to those who nominated me. And I'm hosting. So this in particular is not something where I'm looking to win an award or walk away with an award. But I do hope to see everyone be celebrated and uplifted. And I'm glad to see the nominations. Health and Wellness Advocate, Diverse and Resilient, the organization, Black Space. Shout out to Black Space. We love Black Space. Mental health organization, Halton Street Clinic, Stacey Clark, my brother, Seven Ryan, Haynes, and Jamila Mitchell. Congratulations for Health and Wellness Advocate nominees. We have our Advocacy and Social Justice Award nominees, Mercedes Johnson, Rick Banks, Savvy Bro, Yante Turner, my brother, Stacey Clark, Ubuntu Research and Evaluation. Congratulations to those. You will be able to vote on nominations. Creative Excellence Award nominations, Natea Taylor, Marquise Mays. I just did a documentary in October with Marquise called Monikers, and so I'll be looking out for that project next year. Again, we have Savvy Bro, Dejon Smith, Sean LaShawn, and Joshua Ellis. Congratulations to all of y'all. I love Natea, love Sean as well. And congratulations to all of you. Ballroom Excellence Award, Brother Darren Lee. We have the entire House of Gorgeous Gucci nominated. We have Ricardo Wynn and the House of Miss Rahi nominated. And Aaliyah Hughes, congrats. DeCosta Martin and Buddha Richard Bracefield, congrats. And so congratulations to those nominated for Ballroom Excellence. Emerging Leader Award. We have my daughter, Jasmine Coleman, nominated. Congratulations. We have Seven Ryan, DeCosta Martin, Darnell Watson. Congratulations, Darnell. We have Sean LaShawn and Aaliyah Hughes. Again, congratulations to them. Nominated for Emerging Leader Award. Arts and Culture Impact Award. Aaliyah Hughes, Bertel Higgins. Congratulations, Bertel. Savvy Bro, Richard Bruder Bracefield, Marquise Mays, and Jaquez Infinity Hall. Congratulations, Jaquez. Business and Entrepreneurship Award. This is it, Tits. Congratulations to Tits for being nominated. R&BJ Community Consulting nominated. Congratulations to them. Rosha Breester, Ricardo Wynn, Mercedes Johnson, and Lawrence Andrew are nominated. Congratulations to them as well. Congratulations, Lawrence. Educational Impact Award, we have Chad, Carol, Clark, Demira, Alan Meekley nominated again. We have Pathfinders organization nominated. Justin Roby, soon to be Dr. Roby, nominated. Congratulations. House of History is nominated. Congratulations to House of History, which I'm a part of. Stacey Clark and Matthew Lewis. Congratulations, Matthew. Congratulations to everyone nominated for the Educational Impact Award. Ally of the Year, we have Mayor Cavalier Johnson, House of History, Missy Sweets Lounge, George Snyder, Hugo Borges. Congratulations to Hugo and Joanna Geisler, and congratulations to all of those nominees as well. And then we have Organization of the Year, Diverse and Resilient, where I'm the board secretary, the MKE LGBT Center, Courage MKE, Sunseeker MKE. Shout out to Sunseeker MKE. I'm a Sunseeker MKE fellow from this past spring. Best D Clinic, and Vivint Health. Congratulations to the organizations. And then we have our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Vincent Morrow. Congratulations to Vincent Morrow. And so, again, you can, oh my God, why can't y'all see it? I'm going to just go back. I read all of them, but I thought y'all could see them. Anyways, okay, so this is the Laughing Liberally event tonight. And then the Community Leadership Awards, Community Leadership, Health and Wellness Advocate, Advocacy and Social Justice, Creative Excellence Award, Ballroom Excellence, Emerging Leader Award, Arts and Culture Impact Award, Business and Entrepreneurship Award, Educational Impact Award, Ally of the Year, Organization of the Year, Lifetime Achievement. And so, yes, and so that is the end of our show for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. And please like and share. And I love you all. And I'm going to book it over to this event. Thank you so much for watching.